Mark Vital, offensive rebound, out to Butler. Welcome to Baylor basketball.
Welcome to SicEm365 Radio.
Trying to sneak it in, heavily covered there. Potter on the deck, pickpocket right here. Hold on!
SicEm365 Radio is presented by IdealMRI.com. High-quality MRIs for $497 or less. IdealMRI.com. Your health is important, so is your budget.
Hammond, Busher, Waters, and Young. 1.3 remaining.
Look how big Los Angeles is. They put all big defensive players in to protect against the smaller guards. They're switching everything.
Sophia for the win. Got it! Got it! Got it! Got it!
Oh, what a great finish for Sophia Young.
The 3 o'clock hour is sponsored by Waco Custom Marketplace. Meats, sweets, Texas treats, and a cut above the rest. 425 Lake Air Drive, Waco.
Vital gets it to the far side. Teague up high off the glass. Oh, nice! Vital had to revitalize.
Now here's David Smoak and Craig Smoak.
All right, here we go. There's three of us here today. Craig Smoak, David Smoak here on the studio set. Paul Catalina could be back as early as tomorrow. Armstrong Sims running the mothership. Armstrong, turn the camera to you, towards you, and there he is. Walked across the stage today. Has been graduated since, I guess, December?
Yes.
But today walked across the stage. How was that?
Covered in sweat because it was at McLean Stadium on the field, and it was hot, and I was in the sun the whole time. But it was great. It was a good, nice closure.
How many today would have graduated? Or was it different waves of like 300 or what? How did they do this?
I don't actually have the numbers. I mean, they had seats spaced out covering the entire field.
Wow.
But half of them were empty because this is from December graduation, so half the people are like, I don't really want to show up, you know. So it wasn't as bad.
Do you have to be there to graduate?
No.
Okay.
So I already have my diploma, so I'm already graduated, but this is just the ceremony.
But today's official.
Today's official.
I'm
officially alumni.
I don't remember mine. My either at Randolph High School, at Stephen F. Austin kind of is inside. I think it was inside. I can't remember if it was at Rose Stadium. Craig, that's what yours was, correct?
Yeah.
And was it in the middle of the afternoon?
I mean, yeah, I guess I don't really remember. It's like 20-some years ago, but congratulations to Armstrong. That's awesome, man.
So do we need to order something for you today? I mean, normally there's
okay. My mom made a really nice meal. So
what did she make?
I'm set. It was fried chicken and some like potatoes and chocolate pie. So I'm set.
Chocolate pie?
Yeah.
I would have just slammed my face right into that. All right, well, congratulations. Armstrong is now officially official. He has graduated, even though he kind of did back in December. Day two, really, or is it day four of the Nicki Collen era? Monday, it was announced. She had a Zoom meeting with the team on Monday night, introduced to a lot of people on Baylor's campus, including part of her team on Tuesday, and then Wednesday, the introductory press conference and all that, and then today is day four. Is today when reality hits, and then this is kind of get down to work, right?
I mean, yeah. I mean, the celebration or the, glow of the new hire can only last so long. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's, yesterday was the big day. She got introduced. She got all the fanfare. She got all the, photos and everything else out of the way. So, yeah, I mean, I think now it's time to get to work. And I'm sure she'll have, like I saw today, she's thrown out, the first pitch at the softball game maybe. So, there will be things like that come, in the next few days. But for the most part, yeah, it's time to get to work. And Baylor, now with another announcement today is, got a staff in place, it looks like, that should be, as so long as they, do what they're supposed to do and win at a consistent rate and, keep players out of trouble and graduate and do all those types of things. With the interim announcement today and then, Nicki Collen getting introduced yesterday, you look across the board and, maybe it's as steady as it's going to be for a while. You know what I mean? As far as the head coaches across all the programs. For Nicki Collen, it's all about business, I would think, at this point. But maybe a little bit more fanfare, in the next couple of days. But for the most part, yeah.
It has nothing to do with what Michael Woodson did as the head coach of the Baylor men's tennis team. It was all about us putting pressure on Mack Rhodes. We put pressure on Mack. He buckled. And today, Michael Woodson, as you mentioned, Craig, no longer the interim. He's now the head coach. And Michael reached out. He's appreciative of our support.
Well, he's on up tempo earlier.
I know.
Yeah,
I know he was.
So he's definitely a Sic'em365 guy. But no, I mean he deserved to get that interim tag taken off. I saw somebody comment underneath the graphic from Baylor of everybody knew that you were not really the interim, and we just needed to get that word out of the media. That interim word, I think, is how that person phrased it. Who I can't remember. I apologize, but. Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of felt like he's not really the interim. That's just really the title. And so now he's officially not, and he earned it. That butt kicking against Texas a couple weeks back was super impressive. Win the Big 12 tournament, and now be ready for nationals. I think it's awesome, and that's a good move for the program.
Here's what I said about Nicki Collen yesterday. I wrote this down. Nothing fancy, nothing spectacular, but I wanted to summarize because we didn't get really a chance to watch the press conference. We kind of had it on, but we were also juggling, getting ready for the show, and so it didn't start. Really, she didn't even get on on the stage until right about the time we started. So we had our own interview with her, and we juggled some quotes that Craig was monitoring, among others. And then last night I went home, and I got it on BaylorBears.com, and I saw the introductory press conference from the Mack Rhodes and John and all the others that were up there, and then she talked. And I sat there. I didn't write anything down, but I did say this. This is what I said about her, just from my words. Just finished watching the entire press conference. She is so honest, no BS. If she didn't know the answer, she admitted it, didn't try to act like she knew everything, and I appreciate that in someone. She's very genuine. And that's a Mack Rhodes DNA hire. I really liked her answer about how she knows basketball from every angle. That's where she's most confident, and then humanized herself when she compared how hard it is and difficult it is to be a parent. She didn't try to win the press conference. She didn't try to be someone she's not. And my God, that's refreshing.
Yeah, I mean, again, another random post that I saw either on social media or on the board. Where someone had said, too often there's the whole cliche of, this person won the press conference when they're introduced, but she did win the press conference. And, I think there have been examples of people, maybe not necessarily at Baylor, but you see a new coach introduced, and then after it's done, you're kind of like, all right, I don't know, we'll see. But I think that she, with what she had to say yesterday, gave a lot of reassurance to Baylor Lady Bears fans out there that the program's in the right hands, that she knows what she's doing. She's confident. She obviously acknowledged Mulkey and is not afraid to, bring her up or afraid to, acknowledge the fact that, these are, big shoes that she's walking into. But I don't really feel like she thinks she's walking into Kim's shoes. I mean, she's taken over the program, sure, but she's, like she said, she's not trying to beat Kim, and the moment she tries to beat Kim is when it won't work, and she'll be gone. So she appears determined to be at Baylor for a really long time, and to do that, she's got to be who she is and not anyone else. And so I like what I've seen of Nicki Collen so far. I saw a lot of positive feedback on what she had to say yesterday. Found it funny. She cried. She cursed. Yep. She kind of had a little bit of everything, which I was all A-okay with. One thing I did notice is I'm not sure what her allergy situation is, but I think this is very important anytime you're taking a job in Texas. She was sniffling a little bit. If you go back and notice, she was sniffling a little bit. So maybe it's just a cold she's getting over or something else, but I sure hope it's not allergy issues because
she's about to have them worse.
Yeah, she's about to really experience that. So that was just one little tiny thing I noticed. But no, I think she hit a home run for the time that she had.
Kendall Brown, Baylor signee, we had him on a couple of weeks ago, earned an invite to the U.S. Under-19 tryout, according to Stock Risers. That's not a shock. McDonald's All-American, one of 3 high school signees for Baylor, including Langston Love and Jeremy Sohan. We've had all of them at times over the last 2 or 3 weeks, including Jeremy last week from Sic'em on SicEm365 Radio. Not sure if you saw this or not. Armstrong, can you go to @BRKicks on Twitter? And it's about Nike and the WNBA. Nike signed 7 rookies to contracts for their jerseys and also for product. And I'm not sure if it's at 3:45 p.m. would have been yesterday afternoon at 3:45. So there may be a bunch of, there you go. Nike introduces the WNBA 2020 rookie signings, and one of those jerseys is the number 2, D.D. Richards. Nike and D.D. Richards. So how about that? Congratulations. Not a shock at all because of the fact, obviously, that D.D. will represent them, and also they're a part of the WNBA, but also that D.D.'s going to have some, she wants to do fashion as well, and so Nike hooks in with her.
Yeah, that's cool. I need to read more about what exactly their plans are for, the marketing aspect and all of that, but I think it's a good sign that, she's already being used as a bit of marketing, and of course, I'm sure they will take even fuller advantage once they, get to know her even more. And, if she goes and makes a little bit of an impact in the league or a big impact, and, there's no stopping the DD train, that's for sure. I mean, she's got the whole package as far as personality, smile, humor, all that good stuff. So I would not be surprised at all, a few years from now to see D.D. Richards up in the ESPN broadcast, booth or the analysis booth, the halftime show, what have you. But first, she's got her pro career. So I think it's great that she's being highlighted, and hopefully that continues.
Now, today at 3:30, Mark Vidal, the Baylor great, fifth-year senior who won the national championship a month ago yesterday along with his teammates and Coach Drew and Jerome Tang and John Jacobs and Alvin Brooks and company, Coach Peterson and others. He's going to join us today at 3:30. This weekend, he is going to graduate. He will be the first person in the family to get a college degree. Speaking of which, Armstrong walked across the stage earlier today. We'll have Mark Vidal today on many things, including signing with an agency and also his future. He'll join us today at 3:30. Kurt Miller, the head coach of the Connecticut Sun, on Nicki Collen. He hired her, of course, as an assistant with the WNBA Sun. Mickey at 4:30. Craig Smoak's off the radar today at 4:45. And also, Lady Bears great Sophia Young. She was one of the former players at the beginning when they introduced Nicki Collen. You saw Lauren Cox. You saw Susie Eppers. I can't remember if it was another name. And you saw also Sophia Young, who's one of the greats in Baylor women's history. She'll join us today at 5. And then Kyle Krabs, Director of Scouting, the Draft Network. Paul has that recorded. We'll have that in the 5 o'clock hour as well. One national note today. Albert Pujols. It appears as if his unbelievable Hall of Fame career could be coming to an end. The Angels today announced they have designated Albert Pujols for assignment. This is the last of a 10-year contract he signed back in December of 2011. 3-time MVP, 10-time All-Star. He's number 5 all-time home runs, 5th doubles, 2nd in RBI, and also total bases, 5th in extra base hits. He is a great player, Hall of Fame player, great person it appears, and he is being designated for assignment. His career seems to be coming to an end.
Well, I'll correct you on one thing. He was a great player. He's not anymore, and he's not worth the money they're paying him. I will say that I'm pleasantly surprised he made it to the end of the contract. I mean, not all the way to the end, obviously, but pretty close to the end. And we've seen a lot of long-term deals in baseball, and those don't typically see their conclusions. And so this one falls just short of that by, 3 or 4 months. But, I mean, still, to be on a 10-year contract and play the majority of it. Pujols, one of the greats of all time. But, yeah, I think the Angels are probably better off in the long run to kind of get over this, being strapped, cash-wise because of contracts like his. I think that they will be better off. But, yeah, definitely a great player. Definitely hurt the Rangers on more than one occasion.
10-year contract on May 4th of 2018, 3 years ago. In fact, this week he went over 3,000 hits. Only Hank Aaron who passed away earlier this year. Only players to have over 3,000 hits, 600 home runs, and 600 doubles. Nearly 1,200 career games. Leaves the franchise 4th in home runs, 5th in RBIs. That's just with the Angels. They really never did much. You know, they got Trout. They have Pujols to that 10-year deal. Anaheim has not been afraid to spend money. And it just doesn't seem like it ever led to much more than just sometimes a team that was pretty good offensively.
Yeah, because they kind of, they grab 2 or 3 guys, but then, that's fine. But if you're all tied up in 2 or 3 guys, then how good is the rest of your roster, So when you're, they went out and I remember after the Rangers' hot little run, they go and grab C.J. Wilson and sign him to a major deal. What did he ever do? I don't even remember basically hearing about C.J. Wilson after that. And then Josh Hamilton was another big one. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That totally blew up in their face. Pujols has been fine because, he played for 10 years. And again, it's kind of hard to – 2011 does not seem 10 years ago, but it sure enough is. So, yeah, the Angels have been a club that – occasionally is in the mix, but mostly just have a lot of high contract players that don't really amount to much. And like I said, I think that it's amazing he even made it this far into that contract. But at the same time, I think the Angels are far better off without Pujols.
Yeah, I agree. They have Ohtani. They have Trout. They got a lot of big names. Mike Trout, by the way, his adjusted salary for this year is $37 million. That includes a part of his signing bonus.
How is he expected to keep the lights on with only $37 million being made this year?
Ohtani, $3 million. Of course, that was something where he signed. I guess that was a contract from overseas. That's going to change pretty soon. Let me see if they have actually. Pujols, $30 million is what he was counting towards. 16.49% of their salary. And on top of that, again, they have other players making a ton of money, but it's a lot. And his career appears to be, and he was fantastic, classy guy, and a long-time Cardinal as well.
Yeah, and wasn't even thinking about Anthony Rendon. I don't know how I didn't think about him. So, yeah, just with Pujols, Trout, and Rendon, that's like almost $100 million in salary for those 3 players.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. Almost just 3 guys is $100 million in salary. So, yeah, they'll shed a third of that with Pujols. So, again, a very smart move. But, they've got nice pieces with Rendon and Trout and Ohtani, like you said. So
their total payroll is over $200 million. Of course, the Yankees and some others, the Dodgers and the Cubs and the White Sox. And
Ohtani's not even making big money.
San Diego, huh?
Ohtani's not even making big money right now.
No, he's not. All right, so that's what's going on today on the show. Mark Vital, can't wait to talk to Mark. And then also 254-339-1122. Speaking of the NBA, I mentioned that earlier from Scotty B, the NBA now, the withdrawal deadline for the July 29th is the draft. So July 7th is the day that you can take your name, either put it in and keep it in the draft or take it out. So Matthew Meyer, you have 2 months. And maybe he does it well before that, right before that, the day of, I don't know, but that's a day. That's July 7th. The NCAA's withdrawal deadline for the draft. And there was a time, of course, things have been pushed back. The draft used to be in June. And now, of course, it's late July, about the time the NFL training camps and much more begin. 254-339-1122, your thoughts. And again, it's a national story with Albert Pujols, but at the same time, wanted to mention that because the guy will be a first-year, most likely you would think, Hall of Famer without a doubt at all. Armstrong Sims graduated today. Mark Vital today. Sophia Young today. And much more today. This is SicEm365 Radio.
Y'all listen up. Let me tell you something about group meals from Rudy's Barbecue. It's got all you need for all the folks you gotta feed. Smoked meat, sides, and more. There's everything down to the tablecloth, just like the one that you see at the store. At a bridal shower, it's better than flowers. In a long-distance meeting, it'll pass the hours. It'll feed all the cousins at a family function. It's better than potluck at a church luncheon. Next time you need to feed 10 or more, call and order a Rudy's group meal.
Next in line. Allen Samuels is celebrating Jeep Freedom Days. It's an exciting time for the Jeep Cherokee and the Grand Cherokee. Built tough as nails and able to stand up to any challenging off-road trails or city roads, travel with innovative technology to meet your lifestyle. Jeep, a great SUV. Allen Samuels, the award-winning customer service Central Texas dealer, the best place to get your next SUV. Located at 201 West Loop 340 or visit them online at allensamuelsdcj.com. Allen Samuels is your friend in the car business.
Come by, let's be friends.
Boots add protection. Good boots help you climb better and move forward faster. And when your son or daughter steps into the boots of a U.S. Army officer, they also learn how to lead. In these boots, they'll gain more confidence with expert training in one of more than 150 occupational specialties. In these boots, they'll stand a little taller and lead a team with diverse backgrounds and areas of expertise to successfully accomplish whatever challenge comes next. In these boots, they'll earn respect with valuable experience from day one that will give them solid footing for success into the future. Highly qualified candidates who earn a spot on our team can receive comprehensive health care coverage, college tuition assistance, and a bonus of up to $40,000. See all the things your son or daughter can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
How did Edward Jones become one of the biggest financial service companies in the world? By not acting that way. Financial strategies, one-on-one advice, it's a big difference. And that's why Brad Wilson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, makes sense of investing. Experience the difference for yourself. Brad Wilson, 250 Sharon Drive in Woodway, 254-776-4337. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Parenting is full of surprises.
You never know what to expect.
So after our son was born, I called my Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent to set up a life insurance policy in case something happened to me.
Sawyer is now 2.
And we'll soon have a sister. There's no one else I would trust with protecting my family.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physician of Baylor Athletics. Our doctors specialize in the diagnosis and treatment of any and all sports-related injuries. Celebrating over a decade of service in Central Texas, our doctors are equipped to handle a wide range of issues, whether it's your foot or ankle, orthopedic spine care, your hand or wrist, knee and shoulder pain, or if you're in need of our arthritis or total joint clinic. Come see us at the new Baylor Scott and White Ted and Sue Getterman Sports and Orthopedic Center. Trust the doctors at Baylor Trust, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Our goal is to get you back in the game.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
This segment on Baylor Athletics on SicEm365 Radio is brought to you by Richard Carr Buick GMC Cadillac, located at the Imperial Drive exit off Loop 340 in Waco. Proud supporters of all Baylor Athletics.
All right, here we go. We'll have Mark Vital in less than 10 minutes as he gets ready for his next chapter in life. And again, some of you have already sent in some notes. Right now, the text line available, 254-339-1122. Scotty B is the one that gave me the note about the NBA. July 7th is when you can withdraw. Also available on YouTube, the top chat. Ryan, about time for Coach Woodson. When you're coaching the number 1 ranked team, you deserve job stability. Women's basketball, by the way, highlighted a Kalani Brown quote on Twitter today. And I've seen a little bit of this about time with Michael Woodson. That was not something that was dragged out for any particular reason other than the timeline of let the season go on, finish, postseason Big 12 tournament. This was imminent. You could hear it from Mac Rhodes the times that we talked to him about it in the last 4 to 6 weeks.
Maybe make a note about this because you know me and trying to remember things days after the fact. But I would be curious in Mac's mind when he figured out that Michael Woodson was probably the long-term head coach, because I feel like it had to have been before the tournament. And I know he said just, wait it out or whatever, but at what point did he start to go, I think we might have found our guy?
I'm not so sure it wasn't a long time ago.
I'm not so sure it wasn't when they named him interim and they were just, for the sake of letting it play out because, again, it's a weird year, right? Maybe not as weird as it was a few months ago, But still, you just didn't know what this – like, for all they knew, you name him interim, and then you play like 2 matches the entire spring.
Yeah.
And, obviously that's not what's happened, but at the time, going off what information they had, that was possible. So, now that you were able to get through it relatively scot-free, and here you are towards the end, then, yeah, I think that it's easy to not do that.
In fact, Scott, honestly, I think it's well-deserved because he has done everything nearly you can possibly do as an interim coach. Now he can concentrate on the tournament. I do think that based on a couple of times when we asked Mac about Michael Woodson, you could almost feel it. It was just, and I don't know, maybe there's a timeline you have to wait through a certain amount of time. Maybe there's an incubation period. Maybe there's not, but that's the possibility. I don't think there was any doubt that this was just a matter of time.
Yeah, but like I was saying a few minutes ago, I mean, Michael Woodson's now the guy in your men's tennis program and will be for the foreseeable future. Don't have his contract details and probably won't get those because of Baylor being a private school, but you've got Nicki Collen now in as your women's basketball coach. I mean, Scott Drew obviously is a huge deal. Dave Aranda, he's got some work to do, but I think that everybody wants him to be around for the long haul. So, I can go on and on and on. But, the coaching staffs at Baylor have been, kind of transitional or have changed a little bit over the last year and a half. But seems like they're starting to kind of settle into a nice groove and maybe not have to worry about too many changes moving forward.
I'll tell you one thing yesterday. It may have been on Tuesday. Wait a minute, what is today? Thursday? Okay, it may have been on Tuesday. But there was a picture taken of Nicki Collen, and it was inside the women's gym. And in that picture was Baylor men's basketball coach Scott Drew. Yep. There's a message there that he came over to the women's gym to see her, and so did Jerome Tang. They were there, and they were allowed to be there. And it was something that, you always hear about things behind the scenes or whatever. Don't overvalue that picture of Coach Drew, Jerome Tang, men's basketball in the women's gym, in the women's practice facility. That's probably one of those, it's a once in a, there was a message there about that, and it was good to see that Nicki Collen was there with a picture of Scott Drew in the women's practice facility as well. Now, a couple of notes about her yesterday, and of course there's still the day after. Questions about the staff. I don't know anything. She mentioned that yesterday. Her first priority was trying to make sure she ensured recruiting her own players, and that will, it appears as if things are going very well. But maybe they'll lose one more. I don't know. But it appears as if most everybody is on board, and we've mentioned most of the names. And they themselves have gone out there and said, like Nalissa Smith, over and over and over again, I can't wait to get started, including today, on a quote from Nikki that mentioned that she wants to make her an even better, greater perimeter player and the number 1 overall pick in the WNBA draft at this time next year. The other part of it is that it appears, I thought a really interesting thing here, and I don't know how they go about doing this, but you saw Lauren Cox, Sophia Young, and Susie Eppers as part of that opening video. Those are 3 of the best ever. Now, yeah, there's others. Odyssey Sims, who's in Atlanta, so disappointed that Coach Collen has left because she came to Atlanta to play for her. It's kind of like disappointing for her, but then again, if she's going to go somewhere else to go help her alma mater, means a heck of a lot to Odyssey Sims, who really, really wanted to play for Nicki Collen. So don't underestimate that quote as well from Odyssey Sims. Whether or not she got enough, whether or not she for some of you she said enough, I don't know. But bottom line, I thought she was real yesterday. We're now joined by Baylor great. You talk about the straw that stirred the drink, Mr. Glue, whatever you want to say. Mark Vital joins Craig Smoak, Paul Catalina, David Smoak on SicEm365 Radio. Mark Vital, how you doing, man?
Hey, how's it going? I'm doing okay. How are you?
We're doing well. Hey, what will Saturday mean to you when you get that degree?
Man, it's going to bring tears to my eyes, man. It's a curse that's broken, generation curse that's broken. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be the first in my family to do it. So That's the generation curse that's broken. So that's gonna mean a lot to me. So I might cry out there.
What does it mean to your family?
It means a lot. That was one of the goals before I even signed, getting my education, getting my degree. You know, my mom and dad, that's one of the first things. Getting my degree. You know, basketball always been a part of me, but getting your degree, that's the real thing right there.
Mark, it's been 1 month and 1 day since you guys beat the hell out of Gonzaga for the national championship. How many of those days have you enjoyed and soaked it in continually?
Dang, it's been that long? Yeah. It's quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
I gotta watch while I stay on here because I don't need Bleach Report going out there and put me out there again.
Yeah.
So it's been cool. It's been okay. I got straight to it. Like I had a week of just really celebrating. But after that, it was just, in my mind, it's time for me to go ahead and start working. But that week, I celebrated with my teammates and everything, man. It's the best moment in the world. And even when I go back to Waco, you know, fans still celebrate like we just won it yesterday. Mm-hmm. But it's been a month. I didn't know it's been a month.
Yeah, one month yesterday. It was April the 5th. Today's May the 6th. 1 month yesterday, you won the national title.
Hey, Mark, you bring up the fans, but what was that like to have all those former players back as well at the parade a few weeks ago?
It was, man, that's probably one of the best moments ever because you can see how proud it was of us. Usually you'll see some people that, you know, I don't know, from other universities where they have like a jealous set of guys. These guys were so supportive the whole year. You know, they came back and forth. They were sending videos throughout the tournament. Like, you know, they always had our backs. And then for us to win it, you know, they still part of us, you know. So at the end of the day, we all one big family. So at the end of the day, when we win, everybody wins.
We had Melvin Hunt, who's an assistant coach with the Atlanta Hawks. He told me in an interview, he was on to also talk about Nicki Collen, the new women's basketball coach. He told me he decided for 72 hours after you beat Gonzaga as a former Baylor player that he was going to win something Baylor nonstop and also make sure everybody knew about it for 72 hours. And I think he was not the only one. What did that mean to you that guys like that embraced it as well?
Man, that means that we opened a couple guys' eyes, man, and they're showing that we got a lot of supporters that we didn't know. You know, like right there, you just telling me that kind of shocked me. You know, at the end of the day, man, like, hey, that's big time because I seen Dirk Nowitzki had on a shirt too, and he was supporting, and that shocked me too, and that's a legend. So, I mean, a lot of people watch that game. They say it's the most viewed game, more than I think a finals game, something like that, and it was crazy. So, I can't really explain that.
So, Mark, you're obviously going to go off, and you've got, you know, big things ahead in your future. Same thing for Davion, same thing for a lot of guys. But seeing those former players come back, is it already kind of instilled in you guys that you'll be doing the same for this next crop and the future waves of Baylor men's basketball players?
Of course, we got to. We got to keep the generation going, man. Like, we can't just be those guys. You can't, you know, switch up or do anything. I mean, like, even though we won a national championship, like I said, we family. We one big family. So, we always got to come back and support the young guys like the older guys did us. You know, like we always got we got the wisdom and everything. So we can go ahead and drop a little knowledge on them.
Mark, will you try to let us know? Mark Few, the coach at Gonzaga, great guy, hell of a coach. They have a heck of a team. But a couple of weeks after you won and beat them for the national title, he was interviewed because they had some guy, one of the best players in the country, commit to Gonzaga, and he was talking about the game. And he said that he wishes he would have known what they were walking into, that he had given his team a chance to understand. He said, talking about Baylor, they were so angry with us. They were so, you know, the controlled anger is what I said. What was it that angered, and what was it that was said? We've heard about champagne. We've heard about getting tired of hearing about Gonzaga. What really fed you guys, the energy you had on Monday night against them?
Man, we was going to be the first to do it all. Like, they really stood up. Coach Drew worked his tail off so much. The whole coaching staff worked their tail off so much for that moment. And that was our first time in that moment. So we had to take advantage of it. And like I said, we dogs. So at the end of the day, it's like you trying to take meat from a dog, aggressive dog. And at the end of the day, it's not going to be easy. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how we had to be. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, Mark Hughes, like one of my favorite coaches also. Like, man, every time we see each other and we talk, he always tells me how much of a dog I am and everything. And I got, like, respect for him, too. And like I said, man, we're going to be the first to do it all. It's no better motivation than that. You're going to be the first in Big 12 history to win a national championship for Baylor. Like, it's crazy. So, I mean, what motivation do you need for that?
Mm-hmm. Mark, I seem to remember it was early on in the season, and it was like cancellations were starting to happen. And, you know, you had obviously made the decision to come back, but I know that at least at the beginning, it was probably super frustrating. And I think you had even tweeted like, man, I don't know how like this is going to work for the, you know, the long haul if we have to keep stopping and starting like this. What was that journey like? I mean, you guys not only win it all, but it wasn't exactly, you know, the way that it typically is. So how hard was that at the beginning? And did you think that, you know, that was going to be the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, or were you just unsure because there were so many changes constantly?
Man, it's a fear of the unknown for me, man, like, because we already been through that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, we've been through it the year before where, you know, we was on our way to doing the same thing we did this year, and then next thing you know, we shut down. And the way everything was going the same exact way that was last year. And in my mind, I was like, man, like, it's crazy, man. I don't know how this is going to work, you know, because in my mind, it didn't sound right how they was trying to feed it to us, but they already had a plan out for us and it was mapped out, you know, and just going on and going on and going on. As it, you know, the season kept going, I started understanding, like, okay, if we just follow these simple rules, you know what I'm saying, and just do everything the right way, boom, you know, we can continue to play. And it worked out just fine.
Yeah, it did. Well, I'm glad that it did, because I remember seeing that tweet and just going like, golly, I feel for these guys. But, hey, in the end, like you said, it all worked out okay.
Mark,
it did.
You were very public, and also not only with your feed on Twitter and social media, but also with us or in some of the pressers. And I remember one time talking to you about, you know, just you're a pretty deep guy. I mean, you're not afraid to mention that. You're not afraid to talk about it. You're not afraid to talk about some of the demons or depression and all of that. When did that really become something on your radar where you dealt with it, but also you knew you had a role where you could help others get through it?
Yeah, man, like I said, like, it was just a struggle at first, not just for basketball, but, you know, it's a lot of things that go through life that a lot of people go through, you know, and eventually it's to a point where I understood I had to understand myself. I had to put a lot of God, I had to put God in my life, you know what I'm saying? And it was just a dark time sometimes because, you know, it's a lot of doubt, you know. And then as far as me, like, understanding, you know, how mental health works and how you can help others, I mean, it's all motivational. You know what I'm saying? It's either motivational or you just tell them, you know, what's right and what's wrong. And I mean, and at the end of the day, I open up and I'll talk about it. I don't have a problem talking about any of it. You know, that's how I think everybody should be. Everybody should shine light on it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, part of the problem, right, is that nobody feels comfortable talking about it, right? And we all walk around with all these feelings, but nobody talks about it, so we all think we're the only ones or whatever. But, you know, you're absolutely...
Yeah, because the reason that being like that is because a lot of people judge. I feel like if you take the judgment out of mental health and stop treating it like an illness, like a lot of people, when you hear mental health, the first thing you think about is an illness. I don't think you should treat it as an illness. You know what I'm saying? It's just, in a way, it's just somebody that's just suffering a little more than you that you can help. You can always pick somebody up.
Absolutely, absolutely. You never know what people are going through. I was sitting here on Twitter the other day. I also want to see Lil Wayne on my timeline. He's announcing the signing of Mark Vital to the Young Money family. Congratulations on that, and kind of take us through signing with Young Money and all that.
Yeah, man. So I have my brother, man. My brother's always been part of Young Money. So that whole process is me coming out of Lake Charles. You know what I'm saying? I had my brother with me at the time, and he was just a regular AAU coach. You know, he took me out of Lake Charles and brought me to Dallas, and we got introduced to everything. You know, Hillian Boogie Nights. And he took me out of Lake Charles and brought me to Dallas and changed my whole life. And you know what I'm saying? And after that, you know what I'm saying, I had to, you know, stay loyal to you. Like everybody know, I stay loyal. I stayed to Baylor from 9th grade to now. So that's over 30 years. But but I just stay loyal to him, man. And then, like, he always knew what's best for me. He always helped me with my decisions. So I can't really sit here and just go against that when, you know, some agencies might want to say, you know, we got the best for you, but really don't. But I know in my heart, deep down, that with his decisions, I know he really wants the best for me and don't want anything from me. And that would help me with the decision. And I also like Lil Wayne, so, hey, it all worked out. We all from Louisiana.
Yeah, absolutely.
I got a text from Ryan on our YouTube video, the channel that we have, Mark. He said, wish we could clone Mark Vital. He just brings intangibles that you don't see in the stat sheet that helps teams win.
Everybody want to clone me, man. Hey, you know what's so crazy? I was talking to a couple coaches, man. I ain't going to put them out right there because, you know, I don't want to mess up their images, but they said the same thing. Like, man, we can clone you and just make at least two of you and just have you, you know, under the basket, man. We'll be undefeated, or, you know, we just need a glue guy like you, or we can have a guy that just buy into you. It's crazy, man. And they start saying this thing like invest stocks in Mark Vital and stuff. That meaning like, man, like everybody should start investing to me and start realizing my worth and stop worrying about the, you know, the stats and everything. And so when I started seeing that, that motivated me a lot. But man, I have a lot of coaches and players, and you know, they have a couple of NBA guys say the same thing. But we're just gonna let it play out.
I watch video of you working out, and I know that you've moved on and you're now working out with another partner that's with you as far as somebody that's training you. And I saw you on the lunges up on the large high step, and you mentioned something about Muhammad Ali hated training. Most people do. And I know Bobby Stroop's a very close friend of yours, and he's also a close friend of ours, and you did a lot with him. Right now, what are you doing? What is keeping you focused, staying in shape in between now and whatever is next with you in the professional NBA or Europe?
Man, it's just me just staying locked in. I like I said, I'm still broke. My family's still not in the best position. I'm still hungry. And even if I make a lot of money, it doesn't matter about the money for me. All right, let me say this. They got this one thing that an old man told me. He told me there's a such thing as being good and there's a such thing as being great. Like, we had a couple good Baylor teams, right? Mm-hmm. But we got a great team when you win the whole national championship. They got a lot of good players in the NBA that make a lot of money, but you got players like LeBron, Michael Jordan, that's great. You got to always try to be great, and that's how I see it, you know? No and like question. Muhammad Ali, one of the greatest of all time, so the greatest of all time, I'm sorry.
What is the one exercise that when you know it's time for the exercise, I mean, and there's so many that hurt, and so many that make you stronger and greater cardio and strength and whatever else. What is it that you dread the most?
Man, they got this thing called the Woodway. It's like a treadmill, but you got to actually move and push it yourself. And anytime I hear I got to get on that, it kills me. That's exactly where you heard the quote at. That right there. Every time I hear I got to get on the Woodway and run on it, my first mind is like, man, I don't want to do this. I'm so scared of that Woodway.
Is there anything, though, better when you finish a workout and you have drained everything in your body, basically, and then you go sit down and you got sweat flapping off the side of your face, down your arms, and you're done with it?
There's no better feeling than that. I'll be honest with you, man. Like, I love that. Like, when I'm sweating hard, I'm tired, and I'm dead, that means I actually work. You know, when I'm saying I can't get no more, like, if I can't beg for no more and be like, you know, give me another round or something, like, I know I put in all the work. I just like feeling dead at the end, the sweat and the going puke and do all that stuff. I like it.
What about history and Egyptology? What's the deal with that? I saw where somebody asked me that you mentioned that today on your Instagram account.
Hey, how you know? Hey, man, how you know all that?
Hey, we do our homework. I don't have Instagram. It's hard enough for me to follow, but what I too much is on Twitter. So. Hey, we're gonna throw some hard fastballs at you too now.
That's crazy, man. Yeah, I'm into all. You know, I'm just trying to get into it, and I'm very fascinated about that. You know, and that's stuff I like to learn about. You know, that's crazy how you know that.
Well, I don't. Somebody else passed it along, and I even had to say, "Wait a minute, let me know what he said," so it wasn't something that you. Now,
yeah, I used to draw actually, like in middle school. I used to draw a little ankh, which is like the cross, but like a circle on the top. That means eternal life. Knuckles? Yeah, I used to draw it on my knuckle just because I was fascinated by Egyptology, and I thought the symbol was cool and the meaning was cool. And so, yeah, I'm with Mark on the interesting aspects of Egyptology.
Mark, how happy are you right now? How just life in general, how happy are you?
I'm happy. This is probably the best spot I've been in, knowing that I accomplished everything this far, with God in my life and, a lot of people along the way that helped me. So, honestly, I'm super happy. Like, no sadness anywhere, man. Just me being Mark Vital, smile and joy.
So let's discuss your future. I know you have business things you're working on as well. What might some of those be, if you can tell us, so we can help promote it? Also, basketball. What do you hear? What's going to happen with Mark Vital, you think, at the next level?
A little bit about my business. I have a couple that's coming out real soon, but as you know, right now I still have my Vital Goods thing up where, I got a couple things on there where, people can get it now. It's from my Baylor career, but I also got, I'm partnering up and teaming up with a couple people. I ain't going to say no names yet. When it happens, I'm going to just let it happen because it's a business move. I like to just, shock everybody like what I did with the Lil Wayne stuff. And I'm going to have some stuff coming soon for that. And as far as the basketball stuff, man, I'm hearing a lot of good stuff right now. You know what I'm saying? As everybody know, they're saying develop a shot, do different things, man. And anything's not nothing's promised until it happens. But, you know what I'm saying? I got a good chance. I got a real good chance. And I'm working really hard. My shot for the first time is, really coming along. I've been putting a lot of work into my shot, and it looks real good, and it feels real good. And like I said, man, it's just me killing myself, man, just killing myself in the gym. At this point, you got to I got a little time. I'm about to graduate, so I'm going to have even more time just to be in the gym.
Have you ever watched video of highlights of yourself and gone, damn, how did I do that?
Yes, a couple times. A couple times. I remember I had got, the Arizona game where I rebounded the team. I was like, man, how did I do that? And I was seeing how some of the rebounds I was getting. And one time, I think it was when I dunked against Texas and ran down the court and then got a block and then came back and made somebody airball. It's crazy. I don't be knowing how I get some of the rebounds I do and how I get some of the steals I do, too.
Can you try to explain, Mark, what it was like, not just to win the national championship, but the trip along the way, the journey along the way, and not just some of the things at times where you're down or whatever, but the guys you won it with and how incredibly tight-knit that group was, where they passed up egos. Nobody really, I didn't mean you guys didn't go at each other in practice or whatever. What was it like to be a part of what, of course, the program talks about, the culture of joy?
Man, that's the closest band of brothers I have, man. We treat each other like brothers, man. Me and Maceo is real close, too. I think me and Maceo is the closest with Obama and Devion. Not just singling people out, but I think that's the little group right there. That's the group right there that's really just crazy about each other. We a group of guys that just want to change the culture, not be jealous of each other, man. Just play basketball, win games. Because if one person win, we all win. If one person eat, we all eat. And whoever win an award, we all win an award. You know what I'm saying? When Devion won a Nate Smith, the Defensive Player of the Year, I started getting DMs, people saying, that should have been you. He's not a better defender than you. Just all kinds of crazy stuff. And, basically just trying to make me, feel a different way. And I told him straight up like this, I'm happy for him. I'm glad he won because at the end of the day, I seen the work he put in. He put in the work I put in. And as long as he's on my team and he's winning, you know what I'm saying, we all win. So at the end of the day, it is accolades don't really mean nothing to me. You know what I'm saying? As long as we win a game, that's why I told him, as long as we win a game, it is what it is. I think the past teams that we had, everybody just wanted to pat stats and try to get to the NBA. This team was actually bought in and just wanted to win, and we kept guarding. You know what I'm saying? And our managers and our GMs, I say GMs, GAs.
Right.
They did a real good job, from rim all the way down to shield. They just kept the culture going. Those two guys that really started all this, in my opinion. Bringing us to the gym, we clowning the gym. Let's go out to eat. Just doing different stuff with us.
You were there for, like you said, you committed when you were 8 or whatever it was. You said 9th grade. It does seem like it's been a long time. And here you are. You play 5 years for Baylor and you cap it off the national championship. How much of a role did you play? Seriously, because it wasn't just the coaches with what and how great they were or the staff you just mentioned, but it had to be you as well with all of the new pieces coming in. Davion, Jared, across the board, Maceo and others, Adam Flagler, and even some of the next wave. How much How much did you play a role in making sure everybody understood the standard of what it meant to be a team?
I was just being a glue guy. That's how to answer that. I mean, I was just being that guy because I've been on teams where we lost, been to NITs, lost second round. You know, I've been a part of all of that. I've been committed for a long time where I've seen teams, you know, kill themselves. You know what I'm saying? As far as having a great team, but at the end of the day, they self-destruct because they don't like each other, or, you know what I'm saying? Not saying they don't like each other, but they just don't want to agree with each other. And so that's something I try to change when I seen Debbie having a whole bunch of new pieces. Matter of fact, I tried to change it last year. We still had like a great season last year. We had even better season this year because guys really bought into what I was trying to say. And told everybody their role, like, man, you don't need to do too much. If we all just do a little something that we great at, we'll win games.
I'm sorry.
That's how it happens.
My favorite response I think I ever saw from you on Twitter was after the All Big 12 team came out. Now, I know you guys didn't win that tournament, but you immediately put up the Joker face. I cracked the you know what up, man. I'm telling you right now. It's like, oh, dear God. Oh, my God.
Man, the only reason I put that up because, man, they didn't know what's in store. They think that, you know what I'm saying, I feel like the Big 12 gave me enough awards, and they're just like, okay, man, Mark's been here for a while, and we don't need to keep giving him awards, even though I deserve a lot of stuff. And I got robbed a couple times for a couple things, but we're not going to get into that. I thought it was best I just put that up there because at the end of the day, it was all smiles because at the end of the day, we about to go win a national championship, so we don't care.
Yeah. Don't care. Mark, can you try to give us just overall the time you've been at Baylor, what it meant to you, what Coach Drew, Tang, Jacobs, Alvin Brooks, there's a lot of them. What in the end did they all mean to you?
Man, that's my family, man. They're part of my life forever. Like, they're huge. Like I said, I've been committed for a long time, so they was there for a long time, like a long part of my life. And like from Coach Drew to Coach Tang, to Coach Brooks, Coach Mills, even Coach Mills, you know, all those guys, 80s. Like, I can name them all, you know, because I've been here, but, man, they mean a lot to me, man. Like, even with the GAs, like, we all close. We got our own group messages to my teammates. Like, I love them all. Like, I love them as brothers, families, uncles. You know what I'm saying? Like, anytime they need something, I can call. They can call me, however you want to do it, you know? Like, those guys going to be with me forever.
That Baylor,
I'm a Baylor legend. They are Baylor legends.
You damn sure are a Baylor legend. There's no question about it. I saw some of the reaction. You know, Coach Mulkey's now at LSU. Baylor yesterday introduced their new women's basketball coach.
That's what I'm talking about. She bringing the powerhouse for the women back to Louisiana. I like it.
It's been a while.
Like that.
Yeah.
Hey, like I said, man, a lot of people, I'm not going to say it like I want to say it, but a lot of people was trying to, you know, figure out why Mulkey left. Everybody had their own stuff. At the end of the day, Coach Mulkey did the right thing. It was for her. And at the end of the day, she's a great coach. She left her mark at Baylor. Now she's just on to another chapter. Now she's in Louisiana where she wanted to be for a while because that's her hometown. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, everybody can try to figure out what's the reason she left or what's the background. So Coach Mulkey in Louisiana, I'm from Louisiana, I'm supporting. I don't care. We back, baby. LSU is back with Coach Mulkey in the powerhouse, bro.
Well, that clock is ticking towards the next season. Ought to be a lot of fun to see what happens and also see how Baylor moves past her time, which was amazing for 21 years as well.
I know that's going to be kind of hard, but hey, man, like I said, everything happens for a reason. God gonna forever watch over anything. He got all the answers. The new coach is Atlanta Dreams coach. And she's real good. And I watched WNBA. She's good. So, I mean, they're going to get the best of both worlds, either way they go. Baylor did a good job, you know, getting somebody that can replace Kim Mulkey. But at the same time, they got to realize that she's not Kim Mulkey. And they don't need to compare the two. She's our own coach, and then Kim Mulkey's her own coach, you know?
Yep, absolutely. And she said that yesterday. I want you to close. If you're not driving, I want you to close your eyes for a second. It's Saturday. It's Saturday. And on the speaker, your name, Mark Vital. As you go across the stage, what will you be thinking?
I mean, I did it. I broke a curse. You know, this is something that's going to change my life forever, change my kids' life, change the generation, my next generation, my generation. And as I'm walking, man, I told you I'm going to cry as I grab it. That's all you can do is cry and be like, man, I did it, man. If I can go and write a book from everything I've been through, soon I'm going to have a documentary that's coming out real soon. And that's being made, it's being made right now. But it's going to be real good, and everybody's going to see a little piece of my life and how it went. And a lot of people change their perspective on, some things of me, because they got some negative things about me, but at the same time, they got a lot of positives. But if everybody sees the stuff I went through, they'll understand why I was dealing with a lot of stuff I was dealing with. So that's going to be all let loose when I grab that diploma and know that I won. I won a battle. I'm not another, how you say, statistic. I'm not another one, No, I'm not dead. I'm not in jail. I'm not dead, So that's going to mean a lot.
You damn sure does, man. Hey, Mark, seriously, that right there, what you just said at the very end of what has been an incredible time with you, you found a way not to be a statistic. You found a way to survive. You not only survived, you are successful, and you still have the rest of your life in front of you, and people at Baylor love you, not just because you won the national title. They always love Mark Vital for what you brought to work every single day and what you represented. We wish you the best of luck, and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, man.
Mark Vital. Mark Vital, Baylor, great on many things, from how the graduation, which Armstrong walked across the stage, even though he graduated in December. Mark Vital will do that on Saturday with many others, and the best of luck to him. Emotions on his sleeve, and yet times he had to learn how to kind of check them, as you said, as well. When we come back, we're going into the 4 o'clock hour here, right, Armstrong? Or we got a little bit of time here. I don't know exactly. Take a break. We'll take a quick break. Kurt Miller, the head coach of the Connecticut Sun, will join us. His thoughts about Nicki Collen. Also, Mickey Spagnola, the Cowboys a few days after the draft. Sophia Young, one of the great Lady Bears of all time at 5. And then also an NFL draft expert at 5:20. SicEm365 Radio. Don Shumidor and Coffee Beans in the Town West Shopping Center off Valley Mills in Waco. Don Shumidor, if you smoke a cigar, if you like smoking a cigar, when I play a round of golf, if in fact I ever get a chance to do that anymore, I always have a little case. It could put about 4 cigars, and that's the only time basically that I might light up a cigar while I'm trying to relax when I can to play a round of golf. And they have the best brands you could imagine of Don Shumidor and Coffee Beans in the Town West Shopping Center off Valley Mills in Waco. Macanudo, H. Upman, Ashton, Rocky Patel, Romeo and Julieta, Padron, Cohiba, name it, they have it. And then flavors and assortment of all sorts of different tastes, I guess you could say. And I said flavors of the coffee, the fresh coffee beans. And if you do like, or you are hearing or being more and more interested in the CBD products, they have products available at Don Shumidor, including, it's a bottle about this tall, if you're interested, of gummies, CBD gummies that allow you to fall and relax when you fall asleep. And so let's think about that. How many times does the alarm go off and you go, God, I wish I had 30 more minutes or 45 minutes? And how many times does it make you toss and turn before you fall asleep and lose 30 to 45 minutes? Vita Dreams can help you relax and go to sleep quicker. It's Don Shumidor and Coffee Beans. Tell Carol and or Ashley Smokey sent you in the Town West Shopping Center off Valley Mills in Waco.
Hey, this is Bryce Petty, former starting quarterback and 2-time Big 12 champion, and I know firsthand the importance of being in top shape both on and off the field. So listen up, men. If you're feeling beat down day in and day out and looking for that high-performance edge that separates the men from the boys, then look no further than the Petty Clinic Low T in Waco. Petty Clinic is a comprehensive men's healthcare clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Board-certified Dr. Kent Petty has a special interest in offering the highest quality medical care to men of all ages. Some of the services offered include screening and treatment for low testosterone or thyroid, infertility, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, sleep apnea, while offering comprehensive wellness exams and complete men's health lab panels. High performance men, remember, it's not just a Petty thing. This is Bryce Petty, encouraging you to reach out and Google search Petty Clinic Low T or go to pettycliniclowt.com and get your complimentary lab screening today.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible and rewarding challenge. Hi, this is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like our free First mobile app, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. That's the First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be a part of the Waco community. We're a small family business right here in Central Texas, and our goal is to bring down the cost of healthcare while maintaining high quality. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important, and unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. That's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through the difficult time. We offer premium MRIs just like a hospital with state-of-the-art technology and specialists, but you'll pay less. Sometimes thousands of dollars less, whether you're using insurance or not. At Ideal MRI, we accept most insurance and there are no hidden costs, even offering financing if that's needed. Everything included in the price, and you'll not get something as a surprise in the mail later on. If you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. They'll know. You can schedule an appointment safely from home online in minutes at idealmri.com or give us a call, 833-IDEAL-MRI, idealmri.com.
Car has the trucks, man. They have the one for you. Crew cab, short or long bed, silver, black or blue. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Carr, he has the truck for you. Carr has the trucks, man. He has the truck you need. If you want the best truck, you want a GMC. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Carr, they have the truck for you.
At Marco's Pizza, get craveable pizza made the Italian way with dough made from scratch, an original sauce recipe, 3 fresh signature cheeses, and premium toppings you love, served hot and safe. Right now, you can get unlimited medium one-topping pizzas for just $6.99 each. Why stop at just one? Order with your app or at marcos.com for curbside, carryout, or delivery today. Marco's, pizza lovers get it.
This is SicEm365 Radio. Text us at 254-339-1122. The SicEm365 Radio text line is sponsored by Riverbend Liquor and Wine, with the most extensive variety of craft beer in Waco. A hidden gem on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street.
All right, here we go. Thanks to Mark Vidal. Baylor great Sophia Young will join us today at 5. We'll talk Cowboys in the draft with Nikki at 4:30, and Craig's off the radar soon after that. We're now joined by Kurt Miller, head coach of the Connecticut Sun, Dejanay Carrington, who we had on the day after the draft as well, but also someone that knows Baylor women's basketball coach Nicki Collen very, very well. Kurt joins us on SicEm365 Radio. So when you heard that this might be a thing, that it might work out for her, what were your thoughts, Kurt?
I thought it was a home run hire. I'm a big believer in Nicki Collen. She is a great mentor for young women, has a great basketball mind. Never easy to follow a legend for anyone, but if someone can do it, Nicki Collen can. Just one of the rising superstars of our coaching profession.
When you hired her from Florida Gulf Coast, what did you see at that time?
You know, Nikki and I go way back to our days, late 90s, 2000, where we worked together at Colorado State for Nikki's now husband.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've had a long relationship, was actually in her wedding. Just always have really appreciated her knowledge, working alongside her early in her career. When I had an opportunity to bring my first staff together at the pro level, she was the first person I thought of. Again, just an unbelievable X's and O's mind, but even better relationship builder. And I knew she has the lens of also of a player. And even though she didn't play in the WNBA, she was invited to a WNBA training camp. She was an elite college player, so had that lens not only as a player, but obviously as a coach. And so fiery like myself, but, you know, a great basketball mind. So again, was a no-brainer to go after her when I first landed in Connecticut.
When was it that you saw she had the attributes to not only be great on your staff, but she could go and lead her own program as well?
Certainly early on in her first ever collegiate job as a very green, just ended her playing career at Colorado State. You knew there was something special about her. She contains the it factor that you really can't quantify. You can't really put a definition on it. She just has that it factor. And then you watched her work all those years with her husband, and at times through those stretches at different stops, helped run the defense. And she really has a lens and an eye for the defensive side of the ball, but is a talented offensive coach. But loves the chess match within the chess match of coaching. Again, not unknown to the coaching profession. May not have had a lot of head coaching experience because she was a soldier for her husband all those years, but a brilliant tactician herself.
Obviously she's going to, and she mentioned this yesterday in her introductory speech in an interview she did with us as well, that she has to recruit her own roster right now, the ones who are there, the ones who are going to play next year. And there's a lot of mixture, as you know, in this day and age of the transfer portal, players coming in and out. Does that experience... Like Odyssey Sims went to Atlanta to go play for her, and obviously that didn't work out because of this opportunity at Baylor with the dominoes effect. Does the free agency give her kind of an edge when it comes to what now becomes free agency in college basketball with the transfer portal?
She has a history of being a good recruiter, even in her stretches at the collegiate level. Now the experience of attracting major free agents through her time in the WNBA. Certainly she's smart enough to realize, first and foremost, the pressing need is to re-recruit and try to keep that core base at Baylor. And she may be completely successful or she may lose one or two. The bottom line is she'll construct that roster what she best feels. Obviously, they have the ability to win now and continue the great run that Kim has. It's never easy to follow that, but she will do it her way. And she understands how she wants to play. And one of the things that she was mentored really well from her husband and then working for people along the way is that you got to recruit players that fit the way you want to play. And so obviously first order of business, trying to keep that house hers. But if there is some changes, that's okay. She'll end up recruiting players that fit the way she wants to play.
Kurt, how would you describe her style as a coach? Not necessarily, you mentioned fire earlier, but more of the X's and O's. What kind of a basketball team offensively and defensively should Baylor fans be prepared to see next season?
She was a defensive coordinator for her husband at Arkansas and really made them competitive in the SEC. She really is scout heavy, always has been. She'll have her teams prepared. She will get them in their base defenses and be really solid, but also obviously not afraid to make adjustments. And then in the WNBA, all our games are close. All the late game decisions, the short shot clocks, it really challenge you at the highest level to be able to make adjustments quickly. So she'll have that. Obviously, we'll be challenged by some of the powerhouse teams that Baylor will meet. But, she'll have them prepared, scout heavy. They'll have their base down. But, again, she will not have any hesitation adjusting when needed.
What has been the reaction you have received, knowing that people know you're attached to what she's done throughout her career when her name was announced as the next head coach at Baylor?
Just general, absolute true happiness for her and her family. What a great opportunity. Again, her record may not indicate the type of coach she is the last 2 years. The bubble season was difficult and she had some injuries and some opt-outs. So obviously a difficult year for all of us in the bubble season. So the Baylor fans don't need to worry about that career record. They are getting one heck of a coach. And, the theme around everywhere is just true excitement for her, an unbelievable opportunity to return to the collegiate game.
Can you tell us something about her? Like, she shared a story about chewing gum Players wanted to know if they could chew gum as long as they didn't hit the court. But is there something else about her unique that you would like to share with the Baylor fans about Nicki Collen?
She knows her why. She knows her why because of her family. She's got strong faith. But she's a relationship builder, and that's not just coach talk. She truly is in it to really empower women and really be there for them. She's a servant leader, and that's not lip service. This is not just about prestige. This is not about her chasing money to Baylor. She has the unique gift of, through this wonderful game, of empowering young women and being supportive. And she will, Baylor will become a players program, and you will hear more and more about the players. And while she'll have shine on her, it will not be about her. It will quickly become a program that's more and more about the players and not the head coach.
Kurt, if you don't mind, Dejanay Carrington had a spectacular year with Baylor, just so close to maybe getting to the Final Four. You know the story. You've been able to see a little bit of her. Your thoughts about Dejanay?
Yeah, DC, as I'm starting to call her. I don't know if that's going to stick, but Dejanay's been a competitor, a warrior. We've had a unique, once in a long, hopefully lifetime opportunity here in training camp where almost all, but certainly the majority of our veterans are overseas and not back. So it was a very youthful camp.
Mm-hmm.
So great opportunity for these young players to really get reps, to really be taught. And then as some of the veterans have come in, like DeWanna Bonner, eyes wide open for her. But you get what you get. She won't back down to anyone. She's physical. She's attacking at both ends of the floor. She's getting her hands on things and being disruptive defensively. It's just got to slow down for her. Everyone right now that doesn't have a lot of years of experience in our camp is playing too fast. Mm-hmm. They're all about 20 miles an hour over the speed limit right now in terms of basketball speed. We got to get her to slow down a little bit. And I know that's a big emphasis with our veterans in her ear to slow down, but appreciate the competitiveness. Been easy to coach, and it's going to be a fight to the finish. This is, make no mistake, this professional league is the hardest league to make. NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, hockey, you name it. There's no harder league to make than the WNBA. Such limited roster spots. She came to an opportunity where there's clearly 2 spots to be won, but nothing's going to be given to her. So this last week is going to be really important for the future of DC.
Kurt, thank you very much for your time. I know you joined our earlier show as well. Thanks for joining ours, and good luck, and thanks for being a part of us.
Appreciate having me.
Kurt Miller, head coach of the Connecticut Sun, at Kurt Miller WBB on Twitter. Dejanay Carrington, you heard she's got a battle. And I know that you may scoff at what he said, if in fact you do. I don't know if you did or not, but the WNBA is the hardest league to make. It's because there's not many teams, and as he said, not many roster spots. And, the depth of women's basketball could always get better, but it is getting better. And especially when he said the flow, the surge is coming of a lot of players coming back from playing overseas, because that's where they could make some money, because you have to do both. You have to do both. Kurt Miller, head coach at Connecticut. When we come back, a couple of notes. There's a horrible note out of Austin with the University of Texas football player. We'll have an update on that. And also, Mickey Spagnola will join us today at 4:30, SicEm365 Radio. Pioneer Stew and Pipe. I spoke with Braden Embry by text the other day. They have dug the dirt, and they're starting to pour concrete on their brand new location at Loop 340 and 12th Street. It's going to take some time. Speaking of taking time, how about business since 1943? How about a business in Pioneer Steel and Pipe, pioneerboys.com on the website? A business that's been in business since 1943. Heck, we've only been doing this show for 13 months. They've been in business since 1943, and they have survived. Whatever's happening in the world, whatever's happening in the country, whatever the economy's like, the ups and downs of the stock market or the Dow Jones, whatever, they've been successful. 1943, because there's 2 things they do: great product and great service. You do that? You know, that's what you hope to do. Great product, Pioneer Steel and Pipe, steel, metal buildings, whatever you want, heavy-duty equipment. You go to their locations in Waco and Bryan, open Saturdays between 8 and noon. And whatever you buy, which is going to be bulky, heavy, and a bunch of it, because you build things with that, the product, they're going to deliver it, and if you want them to, they'll unload it wherever your site of construction's about to happen. It could be in the front of your ranch or some big place you own, or it could be, of course, commercial real estate as well. Pioneer Steel and Pipe, when they say customer service, you can't just say that. You know you mean it 1943. You know it matters. And so does their great product, pioneerboys.com.
At Baylor University, students can shine in their own way. Or should we say their own ways? Because there's no limit to the ways Baylor students make the world a brighter place. Whether they're leading a student organization or following a higher calling, getting advice from faculty, or taking part in world-class research, pursuing their dreams, or working toward their dream job, students find their place to shine at Baylor, where lights shine bright.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco, and Balcones whiskey, including single malt, pot still, baby blue, rye, brimstone, and the all-new lineage in stock. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
Do you or your kids get nervous about going to the dentist? Stonewood Dental, Dr. Steve Childress, he can help.
I've spent a career taking care of patients who as children had bad experiences, and now they're adults that hate going to the dentist. If I get a kid at 3 years old and they come every 6 months and it's a happy experience, it's normal for them. Now they have an accident at 6 or 7 or 8 at school. Now they have a broken tooth or a trauma, and they have to come here. They're used to lights, they're used to water in their mouth, they're used to experience, they already trust us. It's amazing what we can do with that kid without it being a negative thing. But if I see a 6 or 7 or 8 year old that's never been to the dentist, and now they have a trauma or an unfortunate unexpected toothache, it's harder to do that for that kid and it not be somewhat of a negative experience. So bottom line is I try to teach kids and adults and teenagers and everybody the way I'd want my family treated, which is where it's a necessary part of life. You just take care of it. It doesn't have to be that big a deal.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com.
In the market for a quality metal building? Since 1943, Pioneer Steel and Pipe has helped Central Texas residential and commercial customers with metal building design, panel options, building components, and trim options. Pioneer Steel and Pipe's residential line is energy efficient, offers low maintenance, reduces insurance payments, is impact resistant, and carries up to a 45-year limited warranty. In addition, they can also help you find a metal building contractor for your project. Pioneer Steel and Pipe with locations in Waco and Bryan and at pioneersboys.com.
Stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. See all the things they can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
Here they go! It almost looked like Vital was in slow motion. He was in the air so long.
The 4 o'clock hour is sponsored by Boozer's Jewelers, the wedding ring store, specializing in custom jewelry and repair, all in-house.
Now here's David Smoak and Craig Smoak.
I'm still blown away by the Mark Vital segment that we had. Hopefully, if you did not get to hear it, he gave us all sorts of unbelievable, just what you would think from Mark Vital. Energy, passion, full throttle, excitement, sadness in some ways, and yet being awesome what's happening Saturday when he walks across the stage. We mentioned Albert Pujols is one of the national stories. I saw a list of Packers quarterbacks, a list of quarterbacks the Packers are looking at as options, along with Love on the roster with whatever's going on with Rodgers. And one of the names on the list that's available, veteran quarterback, is named RG3, Robert Griffin III. He and his mother, Jacqueline, will join us tomorrow, the Friday before Mother's Day, a little bit after 4 o'clock, and maybe ask him about what's the latest with him now post-draft. But there's also a horrible story today coming out of Austin.
Yeah, I'll pass that Austin thing on in just a second, but I will say on the Packers, you're not seeing the Adam Schefter stuff today where he was on the Dan Patrick show, and he admitted that all that stuff that came out as the draft was beginning none of it was based on new information. It was all information he already had, and he had held on to it. And so when he came out that Thursday last week and all that stuff started swirling, Aaron Rodgers says he wants out. All that was none of that was new. Anything that seemed new was Adam Schefter had held on to it for the draft. So there's a lot of debate on, him doing that. And Dan Patrick even asked him on the show, like, I haven't seen all of it. I just saw a couple clips, but he's like, wait a second. So that wasn't new. You just held on to that information, but nothing's really changed. And he's like, yeah. He basically said, yeah. So, yeah, I think that's kind of a weird little wrinkle because you would have thought that all that stuff last week was like brand new and this was like more gasoline on the fire of Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, when in reality it was just Schefter pouring gasoline on it intentionally.
Well, what was the reaction to that?
I haven't seen a ton of the reaction. Like, I think Dan Patrick was caught off guard by it based on like him following up, but I've also seen a lot of people who are saying, screw Adam Schefter, because like that's not what he should be doing as a media guy. That's, obviously being a bit misleading because everyone was under the impression last week that this was all, fresh stuff and that this was not just a rehashing of things that had happened over the last few months, when in fact it was not anything new or fresh. It was all a rehash that Adam Schefter was holding on to for the draft to put out there.
Yeah, I need to go back and listen to that segment. Yeah, and I love Dan Patrick. He does an incredible job, always has.
But I think he was caught off guard by that as well. So, yeah, a lot of people are like, what the hell, Adam Schefter? Like, that's not what you're supposed to be doing. So, yeah, there is that little wrinkle to the whole Packers Aaron Rodgers thing as well. But you mentioned this awful story. This coming out of Austin. University of Texas linebacker Jake Ellinger, the younger brother of former quarterback Sam Ellinger, found dead today, according to Austin police. Police said they received a call at 12:18 p.m. and found Jake Ellinger in the 1200 block of West 22nd Street. They didn't specify on how they found him, but said his death is not considered suspicious, and there was no cause or other details released. He had joined UT in 2019 after playing at Westlake like his brother. He did not play the last couple of seasons after joining UT back in 2019. Of course, Sam Ellinger was drafted by the Colts this past weekend in a very bizarre twist of whatever. I don't know, fate or what, but I don't know if you saw when he was drafted, they had the wrong picture up there. And it was like a young-looking picture, but it was actually his brother.
Oh,
and so his brother apparently got a kick out of that just this past weekend, that he was shown on the NFL Network where it was supposed to be a picture of Sam. And now here you are a few days later, and even Sam was asked about that, and he had said that he loved it. That he loved that they had made that mistake, and that any screen time that Jake could get, he was all for it. And that was just a couple days ago, and now here we are on Thursday, less than a week later, and his brother that they accidentally showed on the draft, he has passed away. And, when they say it the way that they say it, it leads you to a couple of different conclusions, and there's no foul play. So we'll see, what the ultimate cause was.
And it's weird that this story came after we had Mark Vidal, who discusses
not trying to jump to conclusions,
sure.
But there's one or two things that happened. Is yes, there, a suicide potentially, but maybe just some heart deal. I mean, you don't know. It could be some health thing for all we know. Everybody's different and all that. But yeah, you would putting two to two together, and yeah, that makes what Mark Vidal said I think it's important all the time, but, with this story kind of trailing along right afterwards, it makes you think.
I have this stat, thank you, Craig. 229 high schools had players drafted over the 3 days of the NFL draft last Thursday, Friday, and also Saturday. 229 high schools. American Heritage High School in Plantation, Florida, had 6 players from their own program drafted. Patrick Sartain, Tyson Campbell, Anthony Schwartz, Marco Wilson, Daryl Slayton, and Khalil Herbert. IMG Academy, which is the school that is they played last year, or they playing this year. I think they're playing somebody this year. They played last year against somebody from Texas, and we know what they are. They're stocking up talent.
They do not.
6 players from that school drafted. Kellen Mond, one of them, who used to be a Baylor commit, of course, played at A&M.
And is really a San Antonio Reagan guy, and not, mean, he's an IMG guy, but IMG, if, they want to, not saying that they are, but they don't deserve to be included with, and, some of those other schools don't either. Like California, for the longest time, their prep schools like De La Salle, they just recruit and do whatever. It's, I went to the high school that I was zoned to go to. IMG is players from all over the entire country that are brought to play football. So, yeah, you had a whole bunch of
meat market.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's the same. You recruited those guys. It's not like they just showed up at IMG Academy all, because they lived a few blocks away. So I don't like really including them, but I understand why.
So Allen with 2. Okay. Episcopal High School out of Houston. 2, Jalen Waddle and Walker Little. Also with 2, Oak Ridge out of Conroe, Joseph Asai, played at Texas, and Grant Stewart. And then also Westlake, of course. Westlake, the two-time defending state champions with Todd Dodge and company, with Kalen Granson and Sam Ellinger. We just mentioned the sad story involving his brother. States with the most NFL players drafted per capita. Louisiana. 1 player per 358,289 people.
That's pretty consistent. They're usually the, what do you call it? The, I can't think of the phrase. On average, like the number of people they have versus other places, like per capita, I think is what I'm looking for. They're usually the top state.
There's only 4,700 people, 4.7 million people, that 13 players drafted. Utah, Georgia, Florida is populated as Florida is, 21.5 million, but they had 37 players from the state of Florida drafted. And speaking of that, Florida had 37, Texas 33, and then a drop-off to Georgia, who is loaded with talent, with 20, California 19, Louisiana with that small $4.5 million population 13, and North Carolina had 10. Those are the ones in double figures, from 10 up to 37 for the state of Florida. So that's some of the I love that kind of stuff. That's just me. 38 states plus Washington, D.C. had at least 1 player drafted in the NFL draft. That's just something to pass along for you. When we come back, speaking of which, we'll have Mickey Spagnola break down the good, the bad, the ugly, and possible, the potential or the with the Cowboys and their draft. RG3 and his mother Jacqueline join us tomorrow. Sophia Young today at 5. And this is SicEm365 Radio. Pickup Outfitters, where you have a chance if you want. If you have seats that are kind of worn and torn and you kind of just need to get rid of them and you need to have something new that's really, really, really nice, Jay Arrett, who I'm meeting with tomorrow from Pickup Outfitters, they have cat skin leather. They're a cat skin leather installer, and also they, of course, can get you the product because they are also attached to cat skin leather. If you ever had a cat skin leather seat, you know how comfortable that can be. You know how durable it can be. And you know how you get them? You go to Pickup Outfitters at 220 Lake Air Drive, or go to createacommotion.com. They also have what you need when it comes to the, I guess you could say, the bells and whistles of a pickup truck, SUV, or minivan, from bumpers to grill guards to much, much more. Pickup Outfitters, again, though, also your dealer for cat skin leather, not only to get it, but also to install it And you can go online to createacommotion.com and look for the video about catskin leather. They'll go through the process with you. It's pretty darn cool. It's Pickup Outfitters, 220 Lake Air Drive, and createacommotion.com.
Boozers is the wedding ring store and more. If you're ready to get engaged or already married and want to upgrade your wife's ring for a special anniversary, Boozers is the place to go. With the largest selection of premier quality diamond engagement rings and wedding rings in Central Texas. They have 7 cases with over 300 styles of rings from top designers like Natalie Kay. Choose from yellow, white, or rose gold, plus beautiful top quality loose diamonds. With an in-house jewelry, they can also custom make anything you want. Bring in a picture or drawing and let Boozers create your one-of-a-kind pendant or ring. They can even use some of your old gold and diamond jewelry to create something new. At Boozers, you'll find a great selection of quality timepieces, and Boozers is the place for expert watch maintenance and repairs, too. They specialize in expert Rolex watch repair for fine jewelry, watches, custom work, and more. Go to Boozers on Valley Mills and Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Boozers, the wedding ring store and more.
It takes time to reach goals. It's a truth that applies to more than sports. It goes for your financial goals as well. You work hard for your money, and you deserve an investment strategy that lines up with your game plan. And Tom Albers, your Edward Jones financial advisor, can help. If your financial investments aren't putting forth the effort you desire, stop by today for a financial review. Tom Albers, 4301 Lakeshore Drive, 254-776-7605. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Nicki Group Insurance Agency. With the Nicki Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Nicki Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Nicki Group at 1-800-258-8302.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be part of the Waco community. We're a small family business here in Central Texas. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important. And unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. And that's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through this difficult time. So if you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. You can schedule online in minutes at idealmri.com or call 833-IDEAL-MRI.
Don Humidor, your home with a 48-foot walk-in humidor with the elite cigar brands from around the world, including the #1 cigar of the year, Aging Room Cuatro Nicaragua. Plus, they have the great brands like Macanudo and Artur Fuente, Rocky Patel, Aston, and so much more. CBD, great for sore muscles, aches and pains, sleep, Vita Dreams, and anxiety, mild depression, general health and wellness. Their staff very knowledgeable on the subject. If anyone is curious about CBD, ask Carol and Ashley. Don Humidor in the Townwood Shopping Center off Valley Mills in Waco.
Car has the trucks, man. They have the one for you. Crew cab, short or long bed, silver, black or blue. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Carr, he has the truck for you. Carr has the trucks, man. He has the truck you need. If you want the best truck, you want a GMC. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Carr, they have the truck for you.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
Prescott going end zone.
It's caught for the touchdown. Dalton Schultz.
It's time for our weekly segment with Mickey Spagnola of DallasCowboys.com. Brought to you by the First National Bank of Central Texas, with 5 locations to serve you.
All right, here we go. No Mickey yet at this particular time. Mark Vidal earlier. Kurt Miller, head coach of the Connecticut Sun, on Nicki Collen from earlier. And then also we'll have Sophia Young on the changes with the women's basketball program at Baylor. Michael Woodson, no longer interim men's tennis coach. He joined up tempo earlier today. I'm not sure if we send him a bill for the agent fee. He didn't need us. He had plenty of reasons to be the new head coach. And I kind of gone with a couple of you. This was not them delaying it or taking. They're just waiting for the right time. I think you, like Craig said, It'll be interesting if we get Mac on the next time. When did you know he was going to be your head coach? You were going to take interim off. And you don't want to jump too quickly, even though he proved it pretty quickly. But we'll ask him about that. When was that decision made, even if it took maybe 3, 4, 5 weeks to do it to an official timeline? And I don't know if there's any kind of a timeline you have to when you're named interim. You could do it the next day. You could change it. I don't know. But that's something we'll talk about with him next Tuesday as well. So there's that. Let's see. Still nothing. I have still heard nothing really on anything when it comes to Nicki Collen's staff. And I think that you'll probably have all of that. I would think all of that will be wrapped up in a tie, bowed up in a tie you would think by the end of the weekend, because then you start recruiting 2022. Right now they're recruiting their own roster. And that own roster includes those players coming back, some of the transfers who didn't get to play, Chrislyn Carr and Kamaria McDaniel coming back for the knee injury, Jaden Owens as well. But also then Jordan Lewis, who's coming in from Alabama. There will be another transfer from what I am being told that just has not yet been cleared. And then the change in coaching has probably tied that up a little bit as well. So that's a matter of time. And then, of course, you have waiting for Miriam Dowda, the young lady, the high school star from Arkansas.
Yeah, it'll be nice to get all these decisions out of the way and just sort of know who's on the team and who's not moving forward, and be able to just kind of start from there, because until, everybody kind of makes it known, we're going to be wondering, and you can't really, let's say, and I don't think there's any women's basketball publication that's writing preseason capsules right now, but if you're writing one for Baylor, it'd be almost impossible to do. I mean, you'd have gotten the new head coaching news, but at the same time, you think you know the roster, but not really, because, anything could change in the next day or in the next 5 days. So, I'm really curious to see where the dust settles on the roster, and then kind of go from there. And then, it's highly important that she get her staff together so they can hit the ground running. So I'm sure she's quite busy with that. It'll be interesting to see, does Mulkey now, I'm sure she's already given a call to Bill Brock or Cydia Messer, and would not be surprised at all with them not getting the job to go rejoin her at LSU. Maybe they stick around Baylor. Maybe they go somewhere else. I don't know, but those are some big questions that have to be answered.
Yeah, they do, because Cydia Messer and, of course, Bill Brock, he's not most likely going to LSU, it feels like. And I reached out to him a couple of different times, and he was very professional, and he said, hey, I can't talk. So that's something, what he wants to do, what obviously Nicki Collen wants to do. Cydia Messer, if she can retain her, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, that
would be a huge recruiting coup. But if she doesn't, then I always kind of thought she would probably end up at LSU, because I know she's been tied into Kim as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what her plans are. I'm sure, even though Mac didn't confirm who were candidates and whatnot.
I'm sorry, Craig.
Even though Mac didn't confirm who were candidates and whatnot, we still had a pretty good idea that, Cydia Messer was looked at for the job, and so was Bill Brock. So, are there any hard feelings because she didn't get it, or not even so much hard feelings, but you didn't get it, so, do you really want to stay around? Or maybe she feels like, you know what, I didn't get it, but I want to be here for these girls, and I like it here, and I'm interested by Nicki Collen, and it might be good to have some experience under a different head coach. You know what I mean? It might be a beneficial thing to not be under the same wing that you've been under for so many years. So, it's all up to the individual, and we will see, I'm sure, those decisions very soon, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they are so that we kind of know what to expect moving forward.
As an assistant coach and the recruiting coordinator from when she arrived 8 years ago after being the head coach at Tennessee Tech, and we know her history in the Hall of Fame of Arkansas, all those players on the roster, the ones who especially were high school recruits, that doesn't mean Bill Brock didn't recruit somebody or others as well. And obviously Kim, but Cydia Messer knows them. She's part of that. And the one little intangible is that Tom Collen, Nicki's husband, recruited Cydia Messer to Arkansas. And so, but again, that's a long time ago. If she stays, to me, that would be as huge as retaining pretty much the players as well on the roster.
Yeah, that would be equivalent to an Alyssa Smith being back, or kind of along those lines. That would be a massive move. But, at the same time, we're talking about, it being Cydia Messer's decision. It's got to be Nicki Collen's decision as well.
That's exactly right.
It's her staff, and She may want City Messer or Bill Brock on there. She may not. I mean, that's entirely up to her at this point. And, we've seen Dave Aranda come in and retain people. And we've seen other, jobs maybe elsewhere. You come in and there might be some people you retain. So, yeah, that would be either one of them or both of them would be massive to bring back. But ultimately, that's going to be up to Nicki Collen and obviously – the individuals as well.
Yeah, all right. Hey, Armstrong, I think he was probably with your number being different than the one we normally call from. So I told Mickey, you want to take a break here, Armstrong? We'll come back with Mickey. No, we can't. We have Craig and Off the Radar.
So we'll try to. That's fine.
No, that's fine.
Change it.
No, we're good. 5 o'clock, Sophia Young. We'll try to get Mickey on for a little bit here if you can possibly get him on as well.
He can do it in the next segment. I don't care.
I know.
That's fine.
I know how you are with that. I get it. I saw a little bit of video, and this guy's bothering me. I'm done with him. Jake Paul. He's got this huge following, and now they're going to fight. He and Floyd Mayweather. Here's what's going to happen. Mayweather's going to toy with him, but they're not going to hurt each other.
Yeah.
And they're going to make millions of dollars.
Oh, no, they're going to make so much money, and that's the entire reason for this. I mean, this is basically off the radar. But, yeah, YouTube star, whatever, social media star Jake Paul. He's been fighting a bunch of tomato cans, basically. And, he fought a MMA fighter in his last fight, but that was one sloppy-looking fighter who is not known for his striking and clearly was just there for the paycheck. Same thing, in previous fights as well. Like Nate Robinson. I mean, the size differential was ridiculous to begin with, but the size differential here will be kind of ridiculous as well, I think. So I don't know. I mean, I can't see how they're taking it seriously, but I hope they take it a little seriously. I'm not purchasing that fight, though. I'll catch it a different way. All
right, we'll have Craig's Off the Radar here a little bit before 5. Sophia Young, Baylor great at 5 o'clock. Mickey Spagnola joins us, DallasCowboys.com. The Cowboys have put their roster together, at least with what they can with the draft and also undrafted free agents. And I don't know, Mickey, out of all the players, of all the teams in the NFL, I could be wrong. I saw Brad Sham mention this as well the other day. Has there ever been a franchise with more value from non-drafted free agents than the Cowboys?
They've done pretty good over their, entire history. If you think about some of the players that they had brought in as undrafted free agents that ended up in the, Pro Football Hall of Fame. Now, I don't know that of late they've had any guys enter into the Hall of Fame, but they've had players that have contributed and been able to move up as starters. So, I think they've done a good job, and I think they did a good job in the past because they cared. I think some other teams, didn't really put a lot of stock into the draft when the Cowboys did. And David, if you remember, back in the 80s, 70s and 80s, they used to have that free agent tryout workout at Texas Stadium. It's like if you could pay $50, you had the right to come in and basically have your own little combine, and you'd get a T-shirt and a hat to go with it. So I don't know that they ever got any guys out of that, but they were trying to canvas as much as they could.
So, Mickey, a few days removed from them completing their class last weekend, what do you like and what are you maybe a little bit curious about?
Well, I like the fact that they restocked the linebacker position with Micah Parsons and Jabril Cox. I think that was a huge step forward and one that they absolutely needed. When you listen to Dan Quinn after the draft, he talked about he felt like now they had the ability to match up defensively however any team wants to play. If you want to play with two tight ends, then we got the linebackers and defensive linemen to match up against the run. And if you want to play basically nickel, we have some very versatile linebackers that can cover, that can still stop the run. If they're one linebacker down, they can still blitz. You don't know what they're going to do. So I thought that was a huge addition to have those two guys. And the fact that even though they didn't take a cornerback in the first round, they still ended up with a talented cornerback in Kelvin Joseph, as long as he's got his priorities in order, where football is probably a little bit more important and lucrative than rapping. And if he's got that straight, then, he's a pretty talented corner to get in that part of the second round. And the fact that, and I know it's been another debated character issue, the offensive lineman Josh Ball, who probably is a little bit more talented than having played at Marshall, but because of his off-field complications at Florida State, ended up transferring and probably fell into the fourth round. But I think he's pretty talented. And the other guy that I like that people shouldn't go to sleep on is Simi Fehoko, the wide receiver from Stanford. This guy, he's a little bit older. He went on a 2-year LDS mission before he started college at Stanford. But his last year, he was awfully darn good. And I think if anybody needs to know anything more about him, just go watch the UCLA game when he caught 16 passes for 230 yards and 3 touchdowns. I think the guy's pretty talented, probably a little bit unknown, but keep an eye on that guy to make this team as the 4th or 5th wide receiver.
Not to discount how good Micah Parsons can be or how good the kid from Kentucky might be or others as well. Was it more a value of the numbers of what they're feeding into the defensive depth chart or the value of the players?
Well, I think a little bit of both. I think the early players, I think they were pretty valuable. But again, if you throw more solutions at the problem, maybe you hit half of them or a third of them. And if you do that, then, so be it. But, if you look at why the Cowboys were so successful in the drafts and, when Jimmy Johnson was here, they had all those draft picks. David, they didn't hit on every one of them.
Sure.
They made some mistakes, but they had so many of them that you threw so many possibilities that you forgot about the guys that didn't make it. And it's like, oh, look how great this draft is. Well, if you throw 8 guys at it and you hit on 4, well, then you feel pretty good. And that's kind of the way things went back then. And I would imagine the Cowboys have those same hopes. Who knows what's going to happen with a 6th round pick or a late 3rd round pick. But at least you tried. And I think that's what they had to do at all costs to improve a defense, to go with an offense that, by the way, with the guys that they had missing last year, and I just saw like every one of them work out today in their either rehab or conditioning, and they're all going pretty well. And if you look at what the offense was able to accomplish last year, missing 6 starters and having to start 4 different quarterbacks, if you bring all these guys back, including your quarterback, your 2 starting tackles, your starting offensive guard, your starting tight end, this could be an epically good offense this year if the defense can just be average.
Mickey, I think of linebackers initially, but after this draft, what players on the team or what position group on the team do you think looks up and goes, uh-oh, we got to kind of watch our backs here, based on who the Cowboys selected?
Oh, I think the defensive linemen, they brought in a couple defensive tackles and a defensive end, and all those guys are basically on 1-year deals, so nothing that they sign precludes them from, getting beat out of a starting job or getting beat out of a roster spot. So I think those defensive linemen, have to be, on notice. And we already saw one fall by the wayside with Antoine Woods. I wasn't a favorite of that move. I thought the guy played well in the positions they put him in as a guy that wasn't drafted in this league and kind of made his way with effort. If you look at what he did last year, once they finally got rid of the dead weight with Dontari Poe and put him in there at that nose tackle position, the defensive line played somewhat better. He was only costing them $2 million, so as a restricted free agent. But I don't think he fit the size that they were looking to put on the field this coming year, meaning guys that are bigger, taller, heavier. My gosh, they in the 6th round, Quentin Bohanna, like 6'3", what is that? I was going to say 6'4", 230 if he ate breakfast this morning, 330, I mean. So, obviously they've made an effort to increase the size up front.
Mickey, there's obviously the debate about what they could have done at 10, what they could have gotten at 10, what they could have gotten even deeper. In the end, do you feel like they got enough value, even though Philly only had to move up a couple of spots? Could they have gotten more from that, or was that about the max?
Yeah, I think that was probably pretty good for only moving back 2 spots to get a 3rd-round pick. I think that had they been moving up to draft a quarterback, then I think I would have held out for more. You might have needed to give me a second or a second next year, or even a first if it was a quarterback. But since they were moving up for a wide receiver, I think maybe you don't ask for much, because you saw what it took to move up to get a quarterback. Now I realize the Bears were jumping quite far to get up to take Justin Fields, but I think you didn't jeopardize who you wanted by moving down 2 spots. And I know there was a lot of talk, well, how could you help the team in your division get a player? Well, however it worked out, one of those 2 teams, either the Eagles or the Giants, were going to get the wide receiver, Devontae Smith. So it's not like you hurt yourself, because one of them was going to get him. I thought it was a pretty savvy move to get an extra third, and still get the best defensive player in this draft, as you know I have endorsed for quite some time.
Yeah, you did. You nailed it.
Mickey, Raiders are releasing Jeff Heath. Would the Cowboys have any interest there?
Oh, I'm sure they'll, take a look at it. Again, those things always come down to, how much. Although I'm sure there's not a bidding war on Jeff, and I'm sure that, he still lives here in the area, that he wouldn't mind coming back here. But remember, you signed 3 veteran free agent safeties, so I don't know if there's room at the end. Now, if you happen to get an injury or 2, and you need somebody that's a good special teams player and a guy that is a hard worker and come in and play for you, then maybe they take a look at it. But I think right now, since they're at their 90-man limit, I think that they probably would sit tight.
Mickey, thank you very much. We appreciate you as always. Mickey Spagnola, DallasCowboys.com on Thursdays with us in the 4 o'clock hour. By the way, this is the 90th birthday for one of the great players in baseball history, Willie Mays. My second oldest brother's Michael was a huge San Francisco Giants fan. Robert liked the Pirates. Craig, I liked the Rangers. Craig did too. Or back in the days of the Senators when I was younger. Willie Mays turned 90 years old today.
Yeah, I got a couple of those cards that will be taken over to Bankston's, and a couple Clementes too. Yeah, they're not like $10,000 cards or nothing, but they are Willie Mays and Roberto Clemente's, and so I'm thinking maybe a couple $100.
Yeah.
Probably. So, I've got those stowed away, and we'll be taking those probably to Bankston's in a couple of weeks. I can't do it this weekend, but I'll probably do that in a couple of weeks.
We'll do it when you're ready, and we'll see what some of those Kobe Bryant cards you have among some other things as well. It's 4:52.
It's time for Craig Smoak's Off the Radar.
All right, here we go with some discussion and stories on topics that we normally wouldn't fit into the show outside of this segment. We talked about that Super Soccer League a couple weeks back that's already just dissolved, and it's a non-thing now, right? You heard any talk about the Golf Super League?
I did. I saw some chatter. I saw some players. I think I saw a comment from Rory McIlroy about it.
Mm-hmm. Well, golf.com.
They've tried this before. They thought about doing this before, and it was just obliterated.
Well, yeah, soccer obviously tried it, less than a month ago, and it shriveled up and died within like 2 days of the announcement. So this is all very much to be determined, but there is a lot of chatter right now about forming a Super Golf League, the SGL. It was previously known as the Premier Golf League, And they're planning for 5 big events in 2022. Each event would have 16 players grouped into 4-man teams drafted by a player who would be serving as a team captain. Okay? So that's kind of the format. The teams would compete in individual and team formats. It would consist of players from the top of the world rankings, and some of them could receive upwards of $20 million just for taking part. Actually, a writer from the UK who talked about the league and their plans recently said that he would even put the figure for those top players at upwards of $30 million to play in this. They've extended invites to Dustin Johnson and Justin Thomas, Brooks Koepka, Jordan Spieth, Hideki Matsuyama. Rory McIlroy said last year that he would not take part in a proposed PGL. Mickelson, meanwhile, is up for it. He is in favor of it and said something along the lines, I believe, of, you only get to see your favorite golfers like a handful of times or whatever, and that this would maybe, I think that was his argument, this would allow it to be more regular. But also I think he's probably looking at those money figures. And Mickelson, yeah.
Oh, yeah, because he's at the end of his career. He's
Right.
playing now more as much on the Seniors or Champions Tour as he is on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, McIlroy did not receive an invitation. Johnson has already agreed in principle, Dustin Johnson, to captain one of the teams, although his agent is saying that is untrue. Absolutely no truth whatsoever. Like most other top players, he's listened to their vision, but that is all is what Dustin Johnson's rep said. So just in general, what are your thoughts on the Super Golf League?
They might put something together, but this is why it won't happen. Jay Monahan, who's the PGA Tour commissioner, golfers who join the Saudi Arabian-backed Super Golf League will be banned from the PGA Tour. The PGA Tour has the majors.
That's what the Premier League said, too, if you'll remember, with the soccer players.
Yeah, the U.S. Open, the PGA, the Masters, the Players' Championship, which is not a major, but a massive amount of what you get from that, and, of course, as well, the Open Championship, the British Open. They're already adding to the mix, if you'll recall a story I brought up maybe a month ago, where they're going to put together a fund that's a part of the PGA Tour that gives players extra money for their value on the tour. Not just endorsement money, but value. Armstrong, I think we brought that up. For example, what Tiger would make a ton of that. He won't now. But guys that bring in cred, that move the needle, ratings needle and all that, also that attract the largest galleries, they're going to get paid extra for that, which is always something on the tour. You had to make the cut to earn the weekend to earn any money.
Yeah, and McIlroy said, he was the one actually that brought up, instead of just seeing players 4 or 5 times, it would be more like 20 times. But basically the league, controls it, controls things. So are they doing other sports? And he seems to be happy with the idea of them having a little bit more freedom in the PGA to kind of, do their own thing and not be, I guess under the thumb of anybody else. And I know that at least a couple of golfers, they're a little bit unsure about where the money's coming from, where all the money's stemming
Saudi Arabia's got a bunch of money, but yeah.
Yeah, like Dubai is basically just a big money laundering place. And that's not Saudi Arabia, but same vicinity. So anyway, Super Golf League, are you intrigued by the idea, or do you think it's all...
I think it's probably something that could happen, but I think it would be a failure because it's not because they won't have the money, it's because they won't have the players that make that an interest. To watch. I watch the European Tour. That's always the earlier in the day on the Golf Channel. I love watching those tournaments, but no, I don't think this is going to work.
Well, we'll see. I mean, guys like Mickelson seems to be for it. Guys like Rory McIlroy and Justin Thomas. They also cited just the history of the PGA and, winning these particular trophies. So we will see on the Super Golf League and whether it goes the way of the Super Soccer League that lasted for less than a week. We saw...
Hell, less than 24 hours, it seemed like to me, but okay.
Basically, yeah. We talked yesterday towards the end of the show. I brought up the no-hitter that was thrown by the Orioles' John Means, and it was the first no-hitter in quite a long time, but I didn't really have the details at the time. We had mentioned that a base runner did get on because of a wild pitch, so that was what prevented it from being a perfect game, but that base runner was subsequently thrown out, so he still faced the minimum amount of batters. So everything, the first time in history that it's a no-hitter that wasn't a perfect game because of a wild pitch, but then the runner's caught stealing, so you still face the minimum 27 batters.
That's amazing, and the fact that it was a wild pitch and a third strike, you see Little League games that never end because of that, and then you have some Little League rules. If it's a pass ball and a strike, it's still a strikeout because otherwise they could be just playing merry-go-round. That's unbelievable. Minimum, no hits, basically all but a perfect game perfectly.
Yeah, that one pitch, and they still got the guy out, so they faced the minimum. And also, do you remember the last perfect game? It's harder now. I mean, to keep up with things, but it's been
because I know it happens it happens more often. I don't know if it is more often than it was before, but it used to just be an impossible thing. I don't know.
August 2012, Felix Hernandez.
Oh,
and he actually did it in the same exact ballpark as John Means threw his no-hitter yesterday. So almost a really eerie sort of thing with almost throwing the first perfect game since the last perfect game and doing so in the same ballpark. And let's see, there was one other note I had here for you. Oh, yeah, they were talking about all these, name, image, likeness, and what's going to go on with college athletics moving forward, how kind of crazy it is that, there's all these things that are in the air. Well, Georgia has a law, a new law that is discussing legalizing endorsements for college athletes, which would appear to be great news if you're a college athlete. Might be enticing to go and play college football in Georgia, but a whole lot of symbolism here, as the bill that was signed into law in Georgia allows the schools across the state to take up to 75% of an athlete's endorsement income. So he's pushing, name, image, likeness, but the school can take 75% of that endorsement income. If the University of Georgia decided to implement this provision,
people will go nuts.
Yeah, they could take 70% of each athlete's endorsement. So a player like JT Daniels would only make $30,000 on a $100,000 endorsement agreement, and Georgia would get $70,000.
So here's why the NCAA or a state allows it to happen, and yet you still are not allowing the student athlete. If you're going to give them an opportunity to make endorsement money, give them the endorsement money.
Yep, and so the federal law still remains in the works, but Georgia is now one of those states that has at least passed a law as far as name, image, likeness goes. But obviously, there's a lot of talk about the words written in that law because of what I just mentioned. So we will see where this goes. I'm sure that will be a fight, and we'll have ramifications elsewhere as well. So
all right.
Just something to keep a track of there. And those are a couple stories that are off the radar.
Love the segment, 445-ish. Mickey today got pushed back a little bit at Tuesdays and Thursdays, off the radar. Paul at 5 at 5:55. Not today, but when he's back either tomorrow or on Monday. Still blown away by the story about Jake Ellinger at Texas being found dead in an off-campus house. When we come back, she's one of the great names in Lady Bears history, and they've had a bunch. Sophia Young, her thoughts about Nicki Collen, about Kim Mulkey to LSU, and much more. SicEm365 Radio.
Richard Carr, Buick GMC Cadillac. Got great savings going on right now over at the dealership at Richard Carr. And first things first, they're going to give you priority warranty service. They're going to take care of you. And they're going to take care of you whether you're inside the dealership or you're safely at home, because they can bring the test drive to you. At Richard Carr Motors, they are all about their customer service. And right now, they are celebrating a big anniversary, 22 years. Big anniversary savings come with that 22-year celebration on all new or pre-owned cars. And some of those deals include savings of $8,500 on Buick Enclaves. They've got 3 big rows of first-class seating. It's got top-of-the-line safety, technology, power, $8,500 off right now on Buick Enclaves. If you're looking for a little power and luxury combination, we'll look no further than the GMC Sierra truck. Right now, you can save $8,000 on 2021 GMC Sierras. You can save $7,000 off 2021 GMC Acadias. You can save $6,750 off 2021 GMC Terrains. And these are just some of the deals going on right now. And Richard Carr Motors, as I mentioned, your local family dealer. They're proud Baylor Bears who want to earn your business with great prices, free oil changes with a new purchase, and that priority warranty service on all vehicles purchased. So stop by their clean and disinfected showroom Or, again, let them bring the test drive to you because your comfort and safety is their first priority. It's the big 22-year anniversary sales event going on now at Richard Carr, and Richard Carr Motors says Sic'Em Bears. Congratulations to the national champion Baylor men's basketball team.
I hate my job, but I don't mind getting up in the morning. I dread each day, but I can't wait to get out of bed. You ask me why, and what I'll say to you is true. Well, you can get breakfast tacos at Rudy's Barbecue. Scrambled eggs and brisket, they ain't fooling around. Sausage wraps, son, they're the best in town. Barbecue for breakfast, yes, it's true. Put a smile on your morning at Rudy's Barbecue. Next in line.
Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness was built to help give you a chance to enjoy elite tennis facilities and also remain fit or reshape your body. Now Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness has gone through its own physical changes. There are 7 large flat screens stretched across the main and improved weight room with Wi-Fi available and their own app to enjoy news, business, weather, or sports channels. The beautiful sound of active treadmills and elliptical machines, group exercise classes throughout each day, a new ballet bar for bar classes, a new look lounge and bar with beer and wine with more large flat screens available. Touchless water fountains outside each spacious men's and women's locker rooms, showers, sauna, and whirlpool. Upgraded PA system throughout the world-class tennis courts and lessons for adults and juniors. I promise you'll look and feel better. You just need to walk through the front door. Also, Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness with personal trainers Christy London and Randall Corley. 40-plus group exercise classes, including twice-a-week boot camp. So start today, not tomorrow, at Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness on Lakeshore Drive in Waco.
After my first car accident, I feared the biggest damage would be to my wallet. I expected a mountain of bills and a long, drawn-out process. But my Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent was there when I needed her and helped me get back on my feet and in my car in no time. Instead of a hassle, I got reassurance and a quick recovery.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
You want to know why Stonewood Dental is so successful? Listen to what happy customers have to say.
It's pleasant. It's different than any other dentist office. I really feel like they care. And it's not that you're here for 2 hours waiting on someone to take care of you. It's quick and easy, and I bring my kids, and my kids love being here too. They really love the treasure box. Staff is really nice and accommodating, real friendly. You feel more like home. It's not sterile looking. Everybody has their own personalized rooms with decorations and decor, and they'll even have a blanket for you when it's cold. I've recommended people to actually come here, and they are patients now. I really love it here. It feels like family.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
Hammond, Busher, Waters, and Young. 1.3 remaining.
Look how big Los Angeles is. They put all big defensive players in to protect against the smaller guards. They're switching everything.
Sophia for the win. Got it! Got it! Got it! Got it!
Oh, what a great finish for Sophia Young.
The 5 o'clock hour is brought to you by Edward Jones and financial advisor Cam Heathcott. Edward Jones, making sense of investing.
Now here's David Smoak and Craig Smoak.
Mark Vidal, earlier in the show, my goodness, he was amazing. Thanks to Mickey Spagnola on the Cowboys. Kurt Miller, the head coach of the Connecticut Sun of the WNBA, who knows Nicki Collen, had her on his staff. And then one of the great names in the history of women's basketball at Baylor and also in the WNBA. Sophia Young joins us on SicEm365 Radio, David and Craig Smoak. Sophia, thank you so much for your time. How have you wrapped your mind around all the transition, the changes with Baylor?
Well, there's been a lot going on for sure. And you just got to take it every day, one day at a time, because you just never know what's going to come about with it. So, but it's been fun. It's been a fun process, and it's been hard for all the athletic department that's involved, but for somebody that's kind of sitting back, it's been interesting.
Your thoughts, and have you had a chance either to visit or talk to or text or even get a chance to watch anything of what Nicki Collen has said since she's been in Waco?
I haven't talked to her, not yet, but I have been following her interviews on this 365 and on Google and, Yahoo News and different things. So I've been keeping up with her comments and the things that she's said since she's been there.
Well, we can just take what you said and use it as a promo now, because thank you very much. We appreciate you doing that. Sophia, obviously change is hard, especially when you've had the incredible run of women, and you had a lot to do with that 21 years with Coach Mulkey. What, with her background in the WNBA with Nicki Collen, being a part of the Atlanta Dream, recruiting players like, in fact, free agency and Odyssey Sims was going to be and play for her. How much do you think that helps when it comes to her trying to recruit her own team, that she's had to do that as a pro?
Well, I think it's a benefit, obviously, because, people, because of what Coach Mulkey has done and have done at Baylor and created it to be such a top program in the country, that players that are coming to Baylor are thinking, beyond Baylor. And the fact that she has that experience and coaching the WNBA to know what to expect, what coaches are looking for, and what it's like to play there. So I think that is a great selling point for her, because she's been that, she's been where all these players are aspiring to go to. So that would be a great recruiting tool, in my opinion.
Nicki Collen is someone that, when she talked, I saw a lot of things from her. I saw that she's going to try to be herself. She didn't say she's going to try to be herself. She's going to be herself. She's a basketball junkie. She has been through different levels, of course. What are your overall impressions of what you have heard from her?
Well, I think you're right in your estimation. I think that she is well versed in the basketball world. She knows. She's been a college coach for a long time and obviously in the pros. So she knows what it takes from obviously high school all the way up to the professional level. So I think that she knows who she is, and you can't really replace Coach Mulkey. And to try to do that, or to try to fit into Coach Mulkey's shoes, I think it's going to be at a disadvantage. So I think that her strategy of becoming herself and just being that and not trying to, do anything like him is going to be great for her. Mm-hmm. But I think that because she's been in the game and the system for so long, I think she definitely knows her way of play and what she's looking for in players, and the type of championship caliber mindset that she has. So I believe that she's going to set her own path. Yeah. And that's what she's there for, not to be, to replace anybody or try to, keep anything going from what anybody had, but to create her own path. And I think that if she continues to do that, she'll be okay.
Sophia, you played at a great level in the professional level, a championship level as well, not only with what you did at Baylor, but then when you did play in the WNBA. What would it mean, you think, that if a college coach is recruiting you now and she has actually been a head coach in the WNBA and knows what it takes? Not that others who are just college coaches don't know, they know too, but that she's been there. How much of a selling point could that be for you if you were younger and coming into college?
Well, it'll be everything. It will be everything, especially like I mentioned earlier, for those people who are on the level of being recruited at Baylor. They do have the potential of playing at the next, going on for their next career after college, if they're willing to put in the work to do that. So to be able to be recruited by someone like Coach Nikki, it's going to be a huge, huge deal for a young person, because immediately they're going to think, okay, I'm going to get to the league, So not just because obviously they're at Baylor, but because she knows what it takes to get there, and she knows as a coach what to look for. You know, whenever you're drafting players, you know what type of player you're looking for, what their personality is, are they team players? You know, the kind of chemistry that you want to bring in your culture. You know, does this player have that? Does this player have what it takes to make it to the next level? And so for players who she's recruiting, they're gonna immediately think like, yes, they have it. They have what it takes. So I think it's a great selling point, a great starting point for her to have had all those experiences in her back pocket to use to her advantage.
There was a video of players, some of the great names in Lady Bears history. Lauren Cox, Susie Eppers, of course, you were a part of that as well with a message to to Nicki Collen. When you were asked to do that, who approached you and how easy was that for you to do?
It was a media department at Baylor for Baylor Sports. It wasn't challenging because, like, for anyone who's coming into a program that's been well established, there's going to be a lot of nerves. There's going to be a lot of almost like a tad bit insecurity. Will they accept me? What the process is going to be like? It's been players who are well known, you know, in the game, and you're thinking, what is this going to be? This is just my opinion of maybe what was going through Coach Nicki's mind. So for us, or for me, I was just looking at that as an outsider coming in. Like, I would want people who have been there to say, hey, coach, welcome. Right. You're going to do awesome. You know, just be yourself and you're going to be great. You're going to be great. Just, we're here to support you and, you know, whatever it takes. So we want to, that was my intention behind it, to let her know that she's going to be welcome. She's going to be loved and appreciated. And so I definitely wanted her to feel that right off the bat and not having any type of insecurity or worries or fears of what she can actually accomplish.
Well, Sophia, I think that probably meant the world to her because, you know, with Coach Mulkey and so many of you all having played with her, you kind of wonder, you know, but do you get that sense from other former Lady Bears as well of just hey, this is our program and it's not our, you know, the coach we played for, but it is our program. Do you get that sense from other alums?
Well, first of all, the fact is Coach Mulkey is not a Baylor anymore. That's the fact, right? Yep. So to try to, Coach Mulkey has done a fantastic job in everything that she's done there. You know, there's no words that can describe what she's done, right? And but like I just said, the fact remains that she's no longer there. So someone else has to come in and take the place. Someone else has to come in to carry on, because not because Coach Mulkey is not there no longer doesn't mean that Baylor women's basketball no longer exists. And so I think that for the players, the ones whom I've spoken to, it is a matter of, hey, Baylor University is still here. I was a part of this, and so to whomever takes over, we want to be there for her. We want to support her because Coach Mulkey has been tremendous, but the program continues. You know, and we want to make sure that it stays that way. We want to make sure that it stays a high caliber team and program because we want to be proud. You know, we want to say, hey, yeah, we went to Baylor, and then everybody knows exactly what we're talking about. You know, and obviously give credit to Coach Mulkey because she's done that, and we want to make sure that continues. So we as alumni will want to make sure that she feels supported, and she feels that she will have our encouragement and our support, and my aim will be to just help in any way that I can, and to just let her know that, hey, we're here to support you.
Sophia, one more thing, if you don't mind. Sophia Young, great Baylor All-American, national champion, obviously world champion as well professionally. When you look at the history of what Kim built, and we know what it is, over 21 years, and you were a part of that as well, what does it say because I'm sure there were some that when they looked at that job opening up, even though Baylor would be a great job to have, that there's some that may have looked at that and said, man, I don't want to be the one that follows Kim. That's hard to follow. Don't be the one that follows the legend. Be the one that follows the one who followed the legend. And that Nikki is not afraid at all to come take this job and take it head on.
Well, yeah, it shows that she has a lot of guts. You know, she definitely has a lot of guts, and like she said, she is not trying to replace Coach Mulkey, and you can't do that, right? Because of what Kim has, what she has done. But the fact that she is, you know, standing and being bold and saying, hey, there is a top job in the country right now, and she's like, I don't want it, you know? Yeah. So that says a lot about her and what she knows within herself that she can accomplish. And yes, it's hard to follow someone like, you know, who's a legend and not just follow them, but follow them when they have stepped away, not just because they've resigned, you know, or actually, you know, when I say resigned, like retired completely from the game, but stepped away and possibly can coach against her, you know, in the future. So that is a lot of pressure to come behind someone. It's like coming after a great speech. You're like, all right, so now what? Yeah. You know, so we know that the challenge is already going to be there. We know that the pressure is going to be there because there's going to be people who are saying, okay, that's not the way Kim did it, and you know, this and that, and there may be a hiccup, you know, as the program start up. But I don't doubt that she's capable of winning.
Yep.
And again, it will be, like she said, recruiting the current players that are there to make sure that they can buy into her system, and having them believe in her and having their support. So I think that's probably going to be her biggest challenge at this moment is having the current players believing in her and what she's, you know, what she can do for them. Because we definitely don't want those players to leave. We want them to stay there. So I think as long as she can get that system buy-in,
right,
those players buy into her system and to what she's capable of, I think she'll be okay. Because obviously the players that are currently there are very, very talented, and obviously with the right coaching, they can go a long way. We've seen that.
Yeah, no question about it. All right, so it sounds like you either have children in the car, or you're at a playground, or you're watching.
I am at a playground,
okay.
And this is my life right now.
Well, hey, enjoy every second of that, and it sounds like you are. And I'm sorry to interrupt time with the kids and the children. So enjoy that, Sophia. It's always great to hear from you. You are a class act. Thanks for your time.
No problem. Thank you.
That's Sophia Young. How about that? In the middle of watching what seemed like are just kids being kids, right? And she was great and made a lot of great comments about the coaching change. That now Nicki Collen is the coach. She's the one at Baylor, and that's where the support goes.
Well, and I think I don't know. I think that we probably overhype that coach connection. You know, like I remember when Browse left. And everybody's like, oh, the players are going to want nothing to do with the football program. They were Browse guys. You know, that might be the case for a couple of them, but every single one of those guys, for the most part, has been back on campus at some point in the last 5 years.
Right. Yeah, and some it took longer than others, but you're right.
But eventually, I mean, like Corey Coleman was just there last week. You know, he was taking a picture at the facilities, and he was as much a Browse guy as any. So, you know, I remember talking to former players when Matt Rule first took over, and it took them some time, but eventually they loved him. And then they were pissed when he left, of course. But, you know, now they're getting to know Dave Aranda, and he's probably a tougher nut to crack because he's like a lot like me, actually, just very quiet and not, you know, as rambunctious as Rule. You know, Rule had a big personality. But, you know, it'll be the same case here. You know, Lauren Cox, Sophia Young, Dee Richards, I mean, Kalani Brown, whoever – they didn't win a national championship as Kim Mulkey Bears. They won it as Baylor Bears, you know, and she was the coach, yes, and they will forever be indebted to her and love her and all that, I'm sure. But, you know, they also love the school they went to. Mm-hmm. And I think that degree with that name and wearing that name across their chest every, you know, game out there, every practice, I mean, I think that means a whole lot as well. So, yeah, Mulkey's gone, but the program's not dead. The success isn't necessarily over, and they all need to have the mindset of Sophia and just rally around Nicki Collen to make sure that they can still brag. Because, like, here's the thing. If Kim goes and wins national titles at LSU, which may or may not happen, you know, let's say that she does, though. Like, are J.D and Sophia and Kalani all going to act like they won national titles because Kim did? No, they would if Baylor won another one. So for them, they wish her the best. But ultimately, to be proud of being Lady Bears and brag the way they've been able to brag all these years, Baylor's got to do well. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
they would love for her to have success, but they're still.
But not at the expense of Baylor.
Nina Davis said that to us last week. She goes, "Hey, I'm Baylor.
I graduated." Yeah. She said, "I graduated from Baylor. Yeah. You know, that's where I went to school. So that's my school. So that's what I think the mindset really is. And yeah, there might be a couple people who it takes them a little longer, or maybe whatever, they just can't get over it, or what have you. But they spent a lot of time in Waco on that campus and in those facilities, and the coaches matter, but that also has a pull as well. So, yeah, you want to keep being that Lady Bears program that talks trash to UConn and is really one of the only ones that can do that. So, to do that, Nicki Collen's got to win, and that's what they'll want to see.
I wish I would have gotten this from Sean Bell. By the way, ask her who's the better gymnast or dancer. In talking about Sean Bell, we had every class together. One of my best friends at Baylor, we had to take a ballroom dance portion for a class. They ought to be a part of Dancing with the Stars. And Sean, thanks for the I couldn't get quite to it.
Sean Bell and Sophia Young, ballroom dancing. That would be like the Baylor sports couple, or you know, that's not the right phrasing, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, it would be unbelievable.
Baylor,
but you mentioned the
duo.
coach and former players. I today had lunch with a former player, and he told me that he was one day got a phone call from Dave Aranda, kind of out of the blue. And he's not one of the blue chip All-American type guys. He was an all-conference type player. He was a part of the great run that they had leading up to the to the Big 12 championship. But he said he got a call out of the blue from Dave Aranda. He's on the phone FaceTiming him, and Coach Aranda was talking to him about how he wanted him to come visit the campus. And again, it wasn't RG3. It wasn't Corey Coleman. It wasn't, a star player, but a guy that was a nuts and bolts player, kind of like a football team's version, and you have a few of those, of a Mark Vital. And he said he really kind of was touched by that because he didn't expect that, and he was going to try to, and I think Dave Aranda is trying to do that. We saw Jason Smith on campus at a practice a couple of 3 or 4 weeks ago, and we asked him about that as well. So that's part of that bringing him back that perhaps need to be a part of the program because the younger players need to see where they are.
And if you don't think so, let's say Baylor didn't have a couple guys in the league right now who are big stars. I mean, Xavier Howard's a big star, but, let's say that they didn't or whatever. One of the most special things about that basketball run was just the fact that all the older guys could enjoy it. That's one of the things we talked about so much was just all these older guys being able to enjoy it and to take part with the young players. And you could tell it meant a lot to the young players to see dudes who played in the 70s, celebrating the national title like they won it as well. So, yeah, like that camaraderie that the people who graduate never really leave and they, continue to be a part of the program. That's what you're looking for. You want your former stars, your alums to be a part of the mix. And so you're seeing it with the women's basketball search and people like Nina and Sophia Young and others commenting and being supportive of Nicki Collen. You're seeing it with Dave Aranda and former players embracing him. I think that's highly important to have that kind of family. And you definitely saw it with Baylor men's basketball this year, no doubt about it. So, yeah, that's all very, very important stuff.
All right, Armstrong, did you get my text? Look at that text and see what you could do there. I know it's kind of a weird request. By the way, from Scotty B, let's see here. I just saw in Baylor, the Baylor women's tennis match tomorrow. Let's see here. 50% capacity for free and free for the outdoor. If weather becomes an issue, indoor facility, there will be no fans allowed. The attendance is for the first and second round for Baylor men's and women's tennis, by the way. Coming up as the NCAA tournament is about to begin. So that is from Scotty B, who is a part of our staff. We basically we just feel like he's a part of our staff. No question about it. And Scotty B, we appreciate you very, very much. All right, so we're going to bring her back for one more. This is Sophia Young. Sophia, I hated this because, first of all, thank you for this strange, random come back with us. Sean Bell just sent me a text while you were on the phone with us. And Sean Bell said, the former quarterback, ask Sophia, who is the better gymnast or dancer?
Who is a better gymnast or dancer?
Yeah.
Oh, Sean Bell. He's like literally one of my favorite people. in the world. I had such a great time with him at Baylor. Sean Bell, I'm guessing he's talking about in one of our classes.
Yep.
And because there was a class where it was just him and I in one of our summer classes. And, well, obviously that has to be me. Just respond that to him.
I will send. He said we basically had every class together at Baylor. She's one of my best friends. But so you took ballroom dancing together? Is that right?
Right, we did.
How did that turn out?
Oh, well, obviously we're not dancers, and we didn't get selected for like Dancing with the Stars or anything like that. So that's how that turned out.
Yeah, you should. I'm gonna petition for you guys. You know, Sean, now you're an All-American. You're a world champion. You're a national champion. Sean's a coach's quarterback now at Baylor.
I've been keeping up with him for sure.
Yeah. How proud are you of what he's doing? He's going up that ladder right now.
Absolutely. I feel like Sean, like I said, Sean is definitely one of my favorite people. He's one of my best friends at Baylor. And plus, we kind of grew up together. And I think that he's always wanted to coach, which is the same system that him and I grew up in, where we both came into college and knew that we wanted to coach and teach. And he's following that path for sure. And I am super proud of him, super proud of what he's doing. And I believe that he's on his way to fulfilling his dream. So I'm happy to support him. I'm happy to encourage him and be there for him. So I think it's pretty awesome.
Sophia, thank you very much for jumping back on with us. I had to share that with you, that Sean Bell was listening and he wanted to put a couple of notes in about you and him, the classes you took. Thank you very much for your time again.
No problem. No problem.
Sophia Young, that's a good sport right there. Appreciate her. And Sean Bell for sharing the stories about the ballroom dancing.
Well, it sounded like they were the only two in the class.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So they had to be dancing partners and two great athletes, right?
Yeah. So that's cool. That's a throwback Baylor connection there for sure. Two huge fan favorites. I think it was the words I was trying to find earlier with Sean Bell and Sophia Young. And yeah, she's awesome. And like I was just saying, you know, that support is going to be the biggest thing. You know, Matt Rule couldn't have turned the program around without the support of, you know, past players. And Dave Aranda can't do it without the support of past players. And Scott Drew certainly wouldn't have done it without the support of past players. And, you know, Kim Mulkey needed past players to an extent too, you know. So, yeah, I think it's going to be big to build those relationships and not really a bigger piece to build a relationship with if you're Nicki Collen and Sophia Young. I mean, one of the players that, you know, got it all started.
Man, she was, and part of that 05 national championship team. Coming up next, Paul Catalina, he is out today. He talked to the director of scouting for the Draft Network on another summary of the NFL draft from last weekend. We'll have that. We'll have a little bit more. We'll update a couple of stories. And there's one story. Craig, this might be for off the radar. I'm going to hand this to you. You could use it next Tuesday, even it'll be another week or so old. That's that. When we come back.
You can mention that.
Okay.
That's fine. Yeah.
So when we come back, is it self-contained, his interview, Armstrong? Do you know whether or not it's self-contained?
I can play whatever.
If it is or not, we're going to have this story about athletics pitcher Jesus Luzardo and what happened to him and what shut him down for a little bit, which is silly. This is SicEm365 Radio.
At Baylor University, students can shine in their own way. Or should we say their own ways? Because there's no limit to the ways Baylor students make the world a brighter place. Whether they're leading a student organization or following a higher calling, getting advice from faculty, or taking part in world-class research, pursuing their dreams, or working toward their dream job, students find their place to shine at Baylor, where lights shine bright.
Did you know that 1 out of every 4 men have symptomatic low levels of testosterone and don't even know it? And if you think you're too young to worry about it, guess again. Low T levels can make you feel tired and grumpy, cause weight gain, and wreak havoc on your sexual desire and performance. Petty Clinic Low T can set up same-day blood screening and results, so if you're tired of being tired, I challenge you to man up and Google search Low T Waco or go online pettycliniclowt.com. It's a private clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Affordable, only $150 a month, includes lab blood work, office consultation, testosterone injections, follow-up visits compared to $395 a month in Dallas or Austin, and you don't have to fight the traffic. Petty Clinic Low T as board-certified physician consultations will provide the best form of brand-strength testosterone available. Contact Petty Clinic Low T today. Just off Highway 84 and Old Hewitt Drive in Woodway, Petty Clinic Low T, helping men become the high-performance men they deserve to be. PettyClinicLowT.com or Google search Low T Waco.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco, and Balcones whiskey, including single malt, pot still, baby blue, rye, brimstone, and the all-new lineage in stock. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
It's time to fire up the grill, heat up the oven, or get that deep fryer going to enjoy the top quality products at Waco Custom Marketplace. Order 30-pound sacks of live crawfish by 6 on Wednesday. Pick up on Friday afternoon after 2 or Saturday. Enjoy the weekend. 30-pound sacks of live crawfish available right now for $4.25 a pound. Find all the crawfish boil ingredients you need, including red beef potatoes, sausage, corn cobbettes, and Louisiana boil seasoning. Make your order for live crawfish by Wednesday at 6. Pick up on Friday after 2 or all day Saturday, and enjoy the weekend. Waco Custom Marketplace, your home for fresh baked kolache, cinnamon rolls every day. Butcher shop to cut your steaks the way you want. Fresh seafood, summer sausage, boudin, house cured and smoked bacon, spices, seasoning, soup mixes, and more, and weekly gift boxes for any occasion. Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco, or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
One size fits all. That may be all right for an adjustable belt or cheap sunglasses, but when it comes to your financial needs, no one wants a one-size-fits-all strategy. Cam Heathcott, your Edward Jones financial advisor, knows that his most important goals are yours. That's why he takes the time to understand your needs, knowing you. That's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing. Cam Heathcott, covering Conroe and Houston, 936-756-7717, or cam.heathcott@edwardjones.com. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
The SicEm365 Radio Live Guest VIP Hotline is sponsored by Stonewood Dental. We are all in this together.
Kyle Krabs, grinding the tape on Twitter, director of scouting for the Draft Network, joins us here. And Kyle, I want to jump into the Cowboys first off, because starting local and going out, you had the Cowboys at a D+ on the draft, and most analysts I've read don't have them at anything higher than maybe a C or C+. Is that because maybe outside of the first round, they're not really great at value for the guy they're picking? They just kind of pick the guy they like.
Yeah, I think that has a big piece of the puzzle here as far as, you look at the other corners that were on the board with the selections that they made on day 2. And I think that is an important distinguishment to make is, us on the outside, I try not to marry myself too hard to, okay, this is where I had this player graded, because at the end of the day, I'm trying to evaluate the NFL draft from a scope of all 32 teams, whereas Dallas has a really specific set of criteria that matters to them and them only. So I get why they got some of the players that they did. Did I think they got good value? Not necessarily. I understand that, that they went in aggressively after a defensive overhaul. I think there's some risk with a guy like Kelvin Joseph with a top 50 pick. He hasn't played a lot at the college level. Very inexperienced. He's very raw. So I just kind of look at a lot of the names that they ended up walking away with, and I'm not quite sure that they had to draft them as early as they did, and maybe I'm wrong. But those evaluations, this was more of a long-term play for Dallas. So I think while the immediate returns I expect to be low, this could be a potential big-time boom / big-time bust draft. But definitely coming into this year, I would be surprised if they got quality play from a lot of the guys that they ended up drafting early.
From at least the top of the draft with Micah Parsons. They traded back from 10 to 12. Obviously, the Giants traded with the Bears, one pick after that and got picks for next year and all that, but they moved down 8 spots. So that's a little bit of different on the chart. Did they get good value with Micah Parsons? Is he someone, given the situation they have at linebacker, that can help them right away?
Yeah, I think Micah Parsons is definitely the kind of player that you can expect to step into some kind of role. I think the big question is, from a coverage perspective, he was new to linebacker at Penn State. He played on the edge as a pass rusher in high school, played 2 years of stack linebacker, and then took the year off. And I think you review his 2019 stuff, and coverage was the area that kind of left the big question. And then that's something that obviously with Jalen Smith in-house with Dallas is not unfamiliar territory, unfortunately. It's the coverage issues have been prominent on the second level. So that's why I like that they did go out and get a guy who's almost more of an early on coverage specialist in Jabril Cox to kind of complement Micah Parsons. But, to trade back 2 spots, still get Micah Parsons, get a 3rd round pick out of it. I thought they did really well to get that extra pick and still get the guy that they were probably going to take once the 2 corners came off the board right in front of them. But, man, if I'm Dallas, I am a little heartbroken that a high-value position like corner had 2 guys come off at 8 and 9 with me picking at 10.
You mentioned Jabril Cox. He to me seems to be the kind of guy they need to be looking for in those middle rounds, is someone who can cover a workman-like linebacker. They have not done that really well in the last few years.
Yeah, and I was surprised he lasted as long as he did because his value is really predicated on playing in space. And maybe there's some concerns about what kind of snap volume you feel he's ready to take in the NFL early on, but he's really good in coverage. And he was good at coverage at North Dakota State, and then he transfers into LSU, and he showcases that he was on a bad defense last year, and he's one of the few bright spots that they had. So Cox, I was surprised, slipped a little bit. He had a late testing for pro day testing. I know there was some injury stuff that had him hung up earlier in the process, but he did test. He tested well, and it's just okay. He's a 230-pound linebacker, and how many teams are confident that you can play him in traffic and play him on the early downs? But he's somebody I would not be surprised to see come out and be one of the more high-impact players 3 years from now out of this draft class.
The Cowboys, historically, and I'm kind of curious from your perspective, somebody who looks at a lot of drafts, they are pretty good. Taco Charlton notwithstanding, and I guess Leighton Vander Esch didn't pick up his option, but they seem to like him. It just that has been kind of up and down. They kind of hit that first round pick really well. I mean, they really normally get the first round pick right. Why can they not really build their team in the later rounds anymore? Because back in the glory days, that's what they did really well, was find guys in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round that turned out to be maybe not all pros or pro bowlers necessarily. I mean, there were a couple of those, but guys who were with their team for 7 years and really contributed.
Right. I think Will McClay does a really nice job for the Dallas Cowboys, and from an evaluation perspective, they have found their fair share of really good football players. But I think with the way that they operate, and you look at some of the contracts that they continue to give out, and many of them are justified, but there are a number of big contracts that have kind of handcuffed this team into now kind of drafting for need. So much so that you might not be getting the best players that are available on the board because you, in order to field a team that you feel can competently compete, you have to draft a starting corner in round 2 and round 3. So I think that's a big byproduct of they're very top heavy with their contracts. And as a result, you're drafting to fill boxes for starters instead of just drafting good players, and kind of having a little bit different strategy, and maybe having a difficult decision about letting somebody in-house who you like walk away because they're asking for $15, $16, $18 million a year. So Dallas has kind of tried to have their cake and eat it too, and I think that's part of the byproduct of why you're seeing them kind of come up empty-handed. They'll get contributors, but are they getting good players? That's the big question. So I think some of this is directly tied to the philosophy that you see Dallas put into play.
Kyle Krabs grinding the tape on Twitter, director of scouting for the Draft Network, doing this interview on behalf of betonline.ag. And Kyle, at least from the betting perspective, it looks like you think that teams like the Ravens, Panthers, Bears, Broncos, Dolphins got a lot better. Of those teams, really the ones that might be Super Bowl ready could be the Dolphins and Ravens. Do you think that they upped their Super Bowl odds a little bit this past week?
So just kind of reviewing the actual odds lines that have moved, they dropped odds on Monday on the 3rd. Baltimore did improve. They went from 18-1 to 16-1. Miami stood firm. Denver improved from 50-1 to 25-1. They were another one of the teams that I had really well regarded. And that line could jump way through the charts if this Aaron Rodgers thing ends up getting teeth, because the Broncos would be the team that I look at and say, you guys should go all in. They've got an excellent roster. Teddy Bridgewater, Drew Lock, that quarterback duo, in my opinion, is not going to get you where you need to go. But almost everywhere else, they're ready to compete now. So, even still, 25-1 for Dallas. They have their Super Bowl odds. Baltimore with a nice little jump. Miami stood firm at 33-1 with their odds.
And I know you do a lot of work with the Dolphins. What they've been doing the last few years with the draft is pretty shrewd, especially given a team that had certainly lost its luster over the last 20, 25 years or so.
Yeah, it's been tough sledding, and Chris Greer and Brian Flores, they for a really long time you felt like they were almost kidding themselves a little bit as far as, we're a couple players away from being contenders, so let's sign this guy to a big money contract. Let's give Ndamukong Suh a record-setting contract, and we'll restructure contracts along the way and make sure we have enough space to work it out. Kind of like what we were talking about with Dallas and drafting for needs. Miami, with this new regime and having the kind of long-term stability that they do and appearing to get the coach right in Brian Flores, that allows them to just take good football players. So it was a huge surprise to everybody associated with the Dolphins that they drafted tight end Hunter Long at 81 instead of one of these running backs that was still available. Trey Sermon went 7 picks later to San Francisco, and he was a player who was generally considered to be a good fit for Miami. But they just chose to pick the best players, and that comes back to, you've got Mike Gesicki and Durham Smythe in contract years. So that opportunity that this regime has taken to hit the reset button, embrace a rebuild, and now they have 2 years worth of outperforming expectations at their back to be able to say, hey, we're doing this, we're building this long term. We're not worried about let's field a starting corner for this year or a starting running back or a starting running back. It's a drastic change from what Dolphins fans are used to for the last 20 years.
You had the Houston Texans at your lowest grade at D-, and notwithstanding what their actual picks were, given the situation that's going on there, going in for the new general manager and head coach with hardly any draft picks to work with, and then you throw on top of it, you've got a superstar quarterback who has legal issues, that rival maybe Andrew Cuomo in New York right now. Could they have really done any better than if they had gotten to a C? Would that almost be kind of like grading on the curve, the Dolphins getting an A?
Yeah, I definitely think it's within reason to state, Houston, with having such little at their disposal, was always going to kind of be hung out to dry. And you can find good values when you start picking in round 3. But for me, it comes down to just drafting a quarterback with your first pick. You brought in Tyrod Taylor. You brought in Ryan Finley. Obviously, the Deshaun Watson, we need due process to play out there before we even think about him playing football again. But, you were going to get a ton of assets if he forced his way out in a trade before this thing became public. So you're so far away from having to worry about the resolution to your quarterback situation that it just kind of felt misguided. And then you look at the rest of what they did. I thought they got some low-value positions. They got a safety convert in Garrett Wallow playing linebacker in the 5th round and a move tight end in Brevin Jordan. It's you guys are hitting the reset button. You need some assets and foundational pieces, even if it's at the lower and middle rounds. At least take positions that are trench, reset. You guys got to kind of just take this thing from square one, and they're picking up skill players left and right. It was a little surprising to me.
All right, just a couple quick questions before I let you go. One, who had a sneaky good draft that surprised you?
Oh, man. I don't know about sneaky good, but the Cleveland Browns, I think, are a sneaky good contender to win the Super Bowl this year. Their roster is stacked. It's really just a question of Baker Mayfield and whether or not he elevates his play and can find the chemistry he needs to have with Odell Beckham returning from injury. But if they do, they got two really good pieces for that defense in Greg Newsome and Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah that could have them pushing towards the top, as crazy as it sounds, of the AFC rankings.
All right, who was bad that surprised you this week in the draft?
I was surprised to see the direction that the Rams put out. I'm not surprised that the Rams, they didn't have a first-round pick. They choose to invest their first-round picks in assets that they know what they're going to get. That's the philosophy that they've shown for 5+ years now, so that's not a surprise. But they had plenty of wide receiver depth, and then they bring in Deshaun Watson, and then they use their only top 100 pick on Tutu Atwell. It's like, really? What's the plan here? So I'm sure they have something up their sleeve, but their direction really flew in the face of what I was expecting when you consider their only other day 2 pick was Ernest Jones, a linebacker out of South Carolina, who I think has some nice appeal, but nice appeal is like a 5th-round guy and rotational early down guy. And obviously they lost Corey Littleton in free agency ahead of the 2020 season, so they needed some help there. But I didn't think that was a complementary skill set to what they had lost in Littleton to begin with.
Kyle Krabs from the Draft Network, the scouting director of scouting for the Draft Network, here with us on Twitter at Grinding the Tape on behalf of course, betonline.ag. Kyle, thanks for doing this. Great stuff from you. And again, if you want to follow Kyle on Twitter at Grinding the Tape.
Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physician of Baylor Athletics. Our doctors specialize in the diagnosis and treatment of any and all sports-related injuries. Celebrating over a decade of service in Central Texas, our doctors are equipped to handle a wide range of issues, whether it's your foot or ankle, orthopedic spine care, your hand or wrist, knee and shoulder pain, or if you're in need of our arthritis or total joint clinic. Come see us at the new Baylor Scott and White Ted and Sue Getterman Sports and Orthopedic Center. Trust the doctors at Baylor Trust, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Our goal is to get you back in the game.
Car has the trucks, man. They have the one for you. Crew cab, short or long bed, silver, black or blue. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Carr, he has the truck for you. Carr has the trucks, man. He has the truck you need. If you want the best truck, you want a GMC. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Carr, they have the truck for you.
Boozers is the wedding ring store and more. If you're ready to get engaged or already married and want to upgrade your wife's ring for a special anniversary, Boozers is the place to go. With the largest selection of premier quality diamond engagement rings and wedding rings in Central Texas. They have 7 cases with over 300 styles of rings from top designers like Natalie Kay. Choose from yellow, white, or rose gold, plus beautiful top quality loose diamonds. With an in-house jewelry, they can also custom make anything you want. Bring in a picture or drawing and let Boozers create your one-of-a-kind pendant or ring. They can even use some of your old gold and diamond jewelry to create something new. At Boozers, you'll find a great selection of quality timepieces, and Boozers is the place for expert watch maintenance and repairs, too. They specialize in expert Rolex watch repair for fine jewelry, watches, custom work, and more. Go to Boozers on Valley Mills and Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Boozers, the wedding ring store and more.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Nicki Group Insurance Agency. With the Nicki Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Nicki Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Nicki Group at 1-800-258-8302.
One size fits all. That may be all right for an adjustable belt or cheap sunglasses, but when it comes to your financial needs, no one wants a one-size-fits-all strategy. Ben Erlinson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, knows that his most important goals are yours. That's why he takes the time to understand your needs, knowing you. That's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing. Ben Erlinson, 100 North 6th Street in Waco, 254-759-8533. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible challenge. Hi, this is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like First Free Checking, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
Have you downloaded the SicEm365 Radio app? Do it today on the App Store and Google Play.
All right. Thanks to a lot of our guests today. There is no 5 at 555. Armstrong, you want to do one? You want to pop one out there?
Can do
5 greatest golfers of all time.
My 5 favorite wrestlers ever.
5 courses you'd like to play in your lifetime. You could do that one.
I don't know. I'd have to take some time to prepare that.
On 5 courses? It won't be that because we can't copyright. We'll get sued by Catalina Incorporated.
Yeah.
5 courses. Okay, 254-339-1122. We're not on time for calls here, but the text messages. If you could pick 5 courses and you could play them, and whether you could afford them or they would let you on for free, Augusta National would have to be one.
Yeah, number 1 is Augusta National. Easy.
Number 2 for me would be St. Andrews.
Yeah, I was thinking St. Andrews as well. That one.
Just the history and, even though I wouldn't know anywhere where the damn holes are.
Yeah.
Number 3, Pebble Beach.
I was thinking the same thing. And only because Pebble Beach is like when I have Tiger Woods golf video game.
Yeah.
That's the course I would always play, so I feel like I know it very well.
Friend of mine, Eric, one time he said, "Hey, let's just go on a whim," because he does that. And he said something about, you have those cabins, you got to rent them out. They're ridiculous how much they are. And he was going to do that, and he just made a phone call one day, because I've played Torrey Pines, and I'm not bragging about it, but I was fortunate. After a Super Bowl, my flight was canceled. And so I said, what the hell, let me call out there. And they said, yeah. And I walked on, and I had to use their sticks and all that, but okay, so 3 would be Pebble Beach.
I would put like Bethpage Black up there.
How about Pine Valley?
Pine Valley?
Which may be the best course in America, and they don't give a you-know-what about ever hosting a major. They don't have to.
I don't know that. I don't think I've ever heard of that.
Pine Valley? Oh, my God.
It's like, hand in the
I bet,
my head in the sand
look up Pine Valley and where it's ranked.
It says number 1 golf course in America.
It is. They don't care about hosting a major.
It's in New Jersey.
If there's no major there, then that's why I don't know it. But
yeah, no, but and they don't care. They don't want a major. Yeah, it's in New Jersey. I'll share a story that Dale Hansen one time gave me. He's playing there, and he's played all these courses a lot, and he has a caddy with him. And the guy, Mr. Hansen, you hit the 7-iron or whatever the iron was. He goes, okay, you need to make sure you hit it, but don't hit it a little bit too far right. Not like it would. This green's up elevated.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, okay, so I hit a little bit left? No, you don't need to hit it a little bit left either. He goes, what if I hit it a little bit short in front? Yeah, you don't need to do that either. And then, yes, the Quattro, Cinco, whatever, he said, and you can't go long. So, hey, what the blank am I supposed to do here? I'm not freaking Bobby Jones. Oh, my God.
Stop it on a dime.
It looks like a tough course.
Oh, my God.
Pictures I saw.
That Tour 18, which I used to play quite a bit, and I don't know what it looks like now up in Flower Mound. One of the, I don't know if one of the holes is Pine Valley. I know they have kind of a mini Amen corner, and they did a good job when that first came out. That was fun to play. I haven't played up there in I don't know how many years, ever. But I think one of the holes on Tour 18 might be Pine Valley. It's just like sand everywhere. Who would be another one, Armstrong? Okay, so
Pinehurst.
Pinehurst in
number
North
2.
Carolina. Yeah, Pinehurst number 2. Here's from Marshall. Oh, he's got the top 5 Baylor basketball players. Mark Vidal, Vinny Johnson, Mamadou Dieng,
the mayor,
Matt Saman, who, of course, he was a part of the Leftovers, the book, and Isaiah Austin. Now, you got to have Terry Teagle in there. And now you got to have these guys who just played.
Yeah.
But Marshall, thank you very much. Appreciate that.
That's his personal 5.
Yeah, no, that's right. Absolutely. And Mamadou Dieng has been on the show. We've had everybody on that list has been on the show at least once. It's been about a couple of years with Vinny, but all the other ones we have.
Yeah. Have we had Torian Prince on the show?
No, because he's in the NBA.
Yeah,
I actually called him. I had a number. I called him. He goes, how did you get my number? He was with, at the time he was up in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
He goes, you need to call so-and-so. And so, he's had surgery. He's out for the year.
No, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
And that's just.
So there's the protocol of that. It's kind of like with Melvin Hunt, who was great yesterday on Nicki Collen. I told him, I said, I've gone through your PR protocol with Denver. And, the Mavericks are great because we had Donnie Nelson on earlier this week. But he was like, man, just call me directly. And gave me all the time in the world. Oh, man, I tell you what, Sophia Young was great. Mark Vidal was great. How about them, huh?
Yeah, if you missed the Mark Vidal interview, I know you've probably heard a lot from him here lately, although I don't know how many interviews he's done. I just know he's very active on social media and whatnot, but definitely give it a listen to get, more thorough thoughts on just the run that they went on. Also, a struggle with mental health, and he's doing really good in that space right now. So I'm very happy for Mark and hope his NBA dreams come true. He's said he's hearing some good things, although, nothing's guaranteed, obviously, but looking good. So, yeah, definitely check out that Mark Vidal interview.
No question about it. Softball, by the way, playing Texas. Baseball back in action starting tomorrow.
Although they are going to be without some players, apparently, because of a COVID outbreak.
Yeah, I saw that as well.
Baylor baseball will be, I don't know how shorthanded, but they will be without at least some guys this weekend.
We'll get to that Jesus Luzardo story tomorrow about the pinky in the video game because we're up against the clock. By the way, congratulations to Michael Woodson now being full-time men's tennis coach. That's more than earned, no question about it. Thanks to Mark Vidal, Kurt Miller of the Connecticut Sun, Mickey Spagnola, Sophia Young, Kyle Krabs, Director of Scouting the Draft Network. And also, again, our thoughts and prayers with the Ellinger family, UT family, as Jake Ellinger was found dead earlier today. And again, thoughts and prayers to he and the family, to the Ellinger family. For Craig Smoak and for Armstrong Sims, I'm David Smoak. Thank you for listening. Thank you for viewing us, YouTube and everywhere else. And don't forget about downloading the app or subscribing to SicEm365. The premium content is incredible. Good night.
Ideal MRI is a small family business right here in Central Texas. We're open to support you while lowering the cost of healthcare bills. When you need an MRI, ask your doctor for an Ideal MRI. Visit us at idealmri.com or call us at 833-IDEAL-MRI.
Stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. See all the things they can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
Texas Farm Bureau Insurance has been proudly serving Texans across the state for over 60 years. Call 254-772-8090 to find an agent who will provide a free review of your auto, home, and life coverage.